Let's do a cheers to the Sobeys and Safer Liquid Beer Release podcast.
We ride again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
It's the 6 o'clock a check-in, come on, let's go. It's the AM nasty big hello. It's about to start AM radio. What? It's the cool red hot Nielson Show. Let's go. Everybody tune in, even my wife.
Mommy likes too.
And those Macromella intros are cutting like a knife. Hey, it's Mitch texting in, he's your dealer for life. Let's crack a 6 o'clock and lager with some sirloin bites.
.05 on a Tuesday morning, a Tombstone Tuesday, possibly another type of Tuesday as well. Be ready at 6:30 today.
Are you ready? Are you ready? What if my sacrifice with arms wide open on my sleeve was inside us all? Stand here with me.
What?
Stand here with me. Who's got my back? Wash away those years and take one last breath as we rain bullets, unforgiven, with rain soaking my bread of shame.
My God! The man's a legend. The man's a legend.
If you can connect
I don't know what
dots there.
I don't know what you're talking
it's
about.
Just, I woke up in the middle of the night and I had this
I don't know what you're talking about.
stream of consciousness.
But that got me really excited. Really excited. Let's go. Let's have it. If you're watching over on YouTube today, you're going to hammer that thumbs up. We're at 40 essentially before the show even starts. How can we not get to 5,000? I mean, come on, let's go. Hammer the thumbs up over on YouTube today. We got a fun show locked and loaded for you today. How warm is it out there this morning? Holy smokes. I didn't even wear a toque or gloves or a jacket.
It'd be a good day to lose your jacket, I think.
It would be a great day.
Today would be the day. If you're
To
going to
accidentally place your jacket behind your bathroom door.
Yeah.
Definitely a good day to do that. I just went hoodie today, and it felt great. Felt great.
Just did the hoodie, yeah?
Just the hoodie.
I love it. I
Don't need a
love
coat
it.
today.
No, yeah.
I'm wearing one of my old Lock Shop hoodies. Nah, it's hanging over there. I'm not wearing
With
it right
the
now,
old
obviously.
logo?
But,
The old logo? Or is
the
that-
old logo.
I love
Yeah.
it.
It's
We're
one of the
taking it
ones
back.
I got
Yeah,
made
yeah.
like
I love
myself
it.
back in the basement back in the day.
Love it. Love it. How lewd.
How lewd indeed. Yeah, let's do.
How lewd.
God. What else can we do for clips today?
Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
It's +5 when I got in my truck.
That is a hell of a thing for you to say to me.
So many things. What we're going to play at 6:30 today.
I'm your huckleberry.
I can't wait.
RCN says, stap in, everybody.
Step in instead of strap in. That's classic. We have a jam-packed show for you today. We'll get to that. Jimbo says 5,000 likes and Dusty eats a bag of his own hair shaved live in studio. Eating a bag of hair. Gross. But cats do it.
And they're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just cough it up. Be cool to have a hairball. That'd be kind of neat. All right, here's the show for you today. Oilers are in Vegas tonight. I wish I was too. Elks hiring Mark Kilam yesterday. We'll get to that.
Here, let me dry that tear.
Man, people. So I hopped on the sports cage yesterday, And I was talking about how when Kilam got emotional, like 4 or 5 of us on the staff here were watching out there.
It was on the Instagram stories.
Yeah.
You and Hernan, you're all sitting there. It was very nice. Yeah.
So we're sitting there watching. And I said when Kilam got emotional, none of us wanted to look at each other, because there's like a tear coming down our... And then they clip it and go... Nielson cries when they hire Kilam. I'm like, wait a second here. I didn't say I was bawling. I was joking that we had tears coming. Like,
I believe they had a grown man weeps.
Grown man weeps at coach hire. Come on.
Just a single tear. I mean, you could be forgiven.
Anyway, it was cut. Now everybody across the league goes, oh, that Elks CFL and TSN homer thought Suits and the Riders were bad. What about Dusty and the Elks? Like,
Suits
it's just
and the Riders.
Suits takes the heat all the time on both sides, which is why he does a great job. Everybody, Riders fans, some Riders fans don't like him, and everybody else thinks he's too much of a homer. So
I recuse myself from the conversation.
What are you supposed to do? Like, all right, here's the show for you today. We got morning announcements coming up. We got Fired Up for Gemco Fireplaces, your official Napoleon dealer. We'll go there around 6:30. Got a great clip from Mark Kilam yesterday. Maybe it brings a tear to your eye this morning.
I'll get the tissues.
Yeah. You know what? It's going to be a really bad look when we come back from that clip and I'm sitting here bawling. Like, just, wait a second, Dusty. I thought you said it was just a joke. Anyway, we'll have that Mark Kilam clip or just after 6:30 today. We're going to dive into the fan zone as well.
Fan zone.
Fan zone for fansfirst.ca. What is next on the to-do list, in your opinion, for this football team? We'll get into that today. Craig Button will be by just after 7 to talk Oilers and Golden Knights, but Colson and Kapanen. Where are we at on the Golden Knights this year? We'll get into that. Four Nations face-off. Finland and Sweden, they're going to hang tough in this thing, aren't they? And then some World Junior Championship omissions. Half the top 10 picks from last year's draft aren't even invited to camp. What is going on?
I do love what we're going to talk about the other 3 nations, though. It is a 4 nations.
It is a 4 nations thing. Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit,
well,
too. Early bird special. We hit it last week. We're going to try to run that back. And the wheel is just. The wheel is just. The wheel is just. The wheel is just.
The wheel is.
Jerry Jeudy, anytime touchdown scorer from the wheel yesterday. Jerry Jeudy having like a career game.
10,000 yards receiving and a touchdown.
And a touchdown, which is what we were looking for.
Wow.
At plus 220.
Oh, the revenge game, right?
Jerry Jeudy, a revenge game. It's real. The revenge game is real. You saw that crowd getting all over him last night.
Yeah.
It was great. Plus, Jameis Winston is just slinging it.
He's a carnival sideshow. As we said off, he should be playing in every single primetime game, regardless of the teams. Just get him out there somehow.
That's it. Get him out
It's
there.
a fun watch.
I mean, he threw for, I think it was the 6th most yards in the history against Denver.
Browns record in passing yards. Record
Last night?
497. In a losing, it's so Browns.
And the game was sealed away with a pick 6.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, that sums up Jameis. Like,
Andy McNamara's rolling in his grave, hey?
Oh, it was wild. Absolutely wild. Justin Dunk is going to pop by just after 7:30. They got Chris Morris. They got Ed Hervey. They got Mark Kilam. Now, who comes next as coordinators? We'll get into that with Dunk. And he said it's down to 3 for head coach of the BC Lions. Buck Pierce, Jordan Maximic, and it'll be very interesting to see if Maximic doesn't get that head coaching job. Does he go somewhere else to be an OC? And is it here in Edmonton?
Sherritt, Maximic.
Oh, boy.
The winds are blowing, right?
And you see who else is in the final 3 for the BC Lions head coaching job? My color analyst from the Grey Cup radio call, Mike Benavides.
Please.
Benny!
Benny!
He's in the mix, too. So anyway, Justin Dunk will join us just after 7:30. Weekly confessions for Spectrum Rental. Can't wait to see what the boys send in today there. I did have Jerry Jeudy on my bench in the Big Boy League. With that being said, I still won. And that's I've had a tough season in that league. I've only got 5 wins. I had to have it. I still won. And now this week I play the guy who's second last, and I have to win to hope to have a shot at the playoffs. I know you don't care about my drama, but
the big boy Reed does.
Well, Reed
I think
loves
Reed's
it.
probably sprung up in his bed right now.
Every day before I leave here, I handwrite on a note and leave it on the desk for Reed.
You should leave him a fantasy update every single day.
Here's everything that's going on in my 9 leagues.
Here's the waiver wire transactions.
Current record, waiver wire targets.
Not even your team, like the whole league.
All of it.
Everything, anything that goes on.
I print off all of the available players and say, hey, Reed, take a peek, circle a few that you like.
Actually, I like that. Leave it right here on the desk.
Right here for you, Reed. Kind of easy trivia for Mr. Mike's. 3 questions too many for Park Mazda. That hurts for James H. Brown. Trent was fired up about this hire. Jay was talking to him yesterday down the Elks.
Some in the background of a couple of shots.
I think
yesterday
Jay said
down there,
after Trent took everybody for lunch. What a guy. Gager's going to pop by just after 8:30. The GCL Diesel Orange and Blue Breakfast, and then the Marmot Basin Snow Report, which we launched yesterday.
Went over real well.
That was a lot of fun.
Yes.
That was a lot of fun. So, and then the wrap, of course, for Bruce and the Dream Team over at William Huff. Strummy in the Nasty Chat says, guys, enough with the football talk already. I'm sorry. We'll definitely get away from that. I think I saw Dash from Heavy Hockey over there. Yeah, they're closing in on 1,000 subs.
Hey.
Over on their YouTube channel. They're one of our partners. I think what did he say? It was like they're 6 away. Let's change that. I mean, hop over there, sub to the Heavy Hockey YouTube channel, and let's push them to a very, very cool number.
Let's take them higher.
Oh, my, wouldn't that be something? That's the sacrifice we would make. Leave our show for a second, pop over, sub to theirs, and then come right back, obviously.
Just one.
Just one. A single thing.
One.
Yeah, that's right.
It's an extensive catalog, baby.
Man, those guys got to get on a Canadian tour.
They know
Simple
how to
as
rock.
that.
They know how to rock. Yeah.
If
they had that cruise ship thing a couple years back.
If a Canadian tour is not announced by these guys in the next week, I will eat 3 artichoke hearts.
Well,
just kidding. I take it back already. Guy in a loader texts in and says, good morning, boys. How about a conch for all the folks who get up early and work hard to make the world go round? You gents included, of course.
Yeah.
Guy in a loader. Brandon from Windsor is just aching for the Christmas intro for a 6 o'clocker check-in. I will track that down. Sorry, man. I get busy during the day.
well, maybe at around 6:30 when we come back, hey?
Yeah, maybe that'll be a special treat for you today. It's
Unless there's
6:30.
something else that could.
I mean, we'll see. There might be something else that we could get to, but who knows? We'll see. Nielsen Show is presented to you by South Fort Chevrolet. Drive a little, save a lot. Go see Daniel and the Dream Team. www.southfortchev.com. That's their website. They got a bunch of mid-size SUVs rolling in that are hard to get. We're talking the Trailblazers, the Equinox, Trax. They're ready to move them before they even arrive. These things go like hotcakes. That's how tough they are to come by. So you want to reserve one today. www.southfortchev.com. Swing on out and see them, and you'll be very happy because there's an A&W right there.
It's a nice little nook. Yeah. You got it all made. Yeah.
Like on the way. You cannot get there without driving by an A&W.
Very smart positioning.
A beautiful positioning by everybody involved. I think Texas and the Paris Jewelers inbox, they've got a huge selection of in-stock gifts and engagement rings, of course, for the holiday proposal. Flexible payment options is in. Do not pay until 2026. No big deal. Plus, a portion of sales from their holiday collection will be donated to Make-A-Wish Foundation of Canada. Maddie and his family over there. It warms my heart. Warms my heart when you do nice things for charity. And, of course, one of you will win Text of the Day today for A&W that you can only exclusively use after purchasing a vehicle from South Fort Chev. And then you can get that gift certificate to A&W.
It is game day for the Oilers, which means that Mama Burger medium fry deal is back. $5. That's I'm telling you, one of the best deals in town.
Mama Burger and fries for $5. As some people say, $5.
$5?
$5.
A blue bill.
Let's do it. $5. You can get that.
A bluey.
Big Maple is in it. Says, guys, I told Reed and Glue Guy that they should name their new TV Dallas Aikens because it will have a lot of eyes on it. This TV is perfect size.
It was a TV.
Okay,
Wheels was right then.
Apologies to Atif. Yeah, I really thought that was going to be the CFL tampering window.
I had no idea. We thought he was out of left field, but yeah,
what a guess.
CFL tampering window. What a text.
Yeah, that was a great text. I think that could win text of the day. I will love text of the year.
Yeah, okay.
I will love the CFL tampering window text for the rest of my days. But yeah, I mean, what a guess by Atif. A large rectangular box, and he guessed TV, and he got it.
What next? Picking winners?
Impressive, my man. Impressive
Call
stuff.
him the Oracle.
No, we will not call him the Oracle. All right, let's dive into your morning announcements today for 100.3 The Bear, where it's so busy over there, Yukon had to get a new parking spot. You can record every single morning. And of course, AM Nasty, just like you, Jess Jackson, every single day on the way home on 100.3 The Bear. Jameis Winston last night. Bo Nix last so we had a parlay, and it was Cortland Sutton over on his yards, easy peasy.
Yeah.
It was an interception thrown by Jameis. I mean, that is as surefire
1,
money
2,
as anything
3.
you can get
Yeah.
right now. And then we had Bo Nix over 1.5 passing touchdowns. And he finished with just one. Like that, I can't believe that's the one we missed on when they still put up that many points. But a couple pick sixes are going to do that for
Seemed
you.
like every second play from either offense, there's guys just wide open.
Yeah.
Wide open.
Yeah, they had the 93-yarder.
Yeah.
And then the 70-yarder right back the other way.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Picks galore, that type of thing. That was a great night at Mile High.
How was
Big win for
the
Broncos.
casino last night?
Beautiful. I want to say a big hello again to Jocelyn, Jay, Dustin with a Y, Rob from the Grove, Jason the Acadian, and Andrea, and Vermin, VR Montenegro, and his wag Ginger. We had all the Lurkers Ledge filled to the brim. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Steak sandwich, a side of fries, side of Caesar salad,
You get gravy at all?
a couple of Diet Pepsi. No, just ketchup.
Think about it.
I actually had the ketchup. A funny little gag. I went to go squirt it. It was a fresh bottle. I said, "You didn't
No.
even take the plastic off." We had a good laugh.
Really?
Yeah. So, yeah.
Wow, pretty cool.
A great night.
So
Great
did you
night.
take the plastic off, or did the server take
I
the
took it
plastic
off, and then the
You did?
server took
Wow.
the plastic away from the table. I
That's,
said, "Look at
that's
this."
exactly how I would have expected that
I
to be
tried
executed.
just squeezing out his thing, but yeah, and parking was nice too. Not that you needed it last night,
No.
but if you are parking outside for the winter, if you don't have a garage, pop by Central Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, free heated underground parking, great deal. And Thursday, I mean, boy, do we have a game for you, right?
Well, you know, I'm wondering if maybe I should swing out Thursday.
Well, it's also Blue Jackets at Oilers, so you got the full. It's the full.
Changes my opinion in no way.
Okay,
Marshall and the Muds have power skating.
Connor McDavid gets his Tiffany crystal that night, I think.
Oh, that's right.
So it's a big.
It's a big one. Marshall and the Muds have power skating until about 6:30ish at Castle Downs.
Free.
Cam and the kids go one
underground
way,
parking.
and I roll down.
Free.
I don't know. We'll see.
Heated
We'll see.
underground parking.
Holy smokes! I'm kind of intrigued by it.
Brightly lit as well. Yeah. Lions Packers should be a doozy.
Can't wait for that. That's going to be good. Edmonton Oilers did practice yesterday, and according to the practice lines as they get set for the Golden Knights tonight, looks like they're just going to run it back, which is totally, I mean, with the way they played against Colorado,
Lioness with a good thing.
for all we know, Hyman's healthy, and Knobloch's like, can't do it.
Yeah, sit in the box.
You'll wait. You weren't playing well anyway.
Get some popcorn.
Maybe
in there.
that's what's happening.
Yeah.
No, that's not what's happening. As soon as Hyman is healthy and good to go, they'll get him in. But look, they played outstanding against Colorado. There is no reason to really change anything up anyway. And we'll see how it is today. Like maybe Hyman was so close. They're like, let's see how you are tomorrow.
But the milk advertisements are still on for Victor Arvidsson. Hey, his picture on you'll be driving down the highway
Nobody
in the back of a
knows.
semi. Where have you seen this boy?
Nobody knows what's going on with Victor Arvidsson. He's a mystery man. Tommy Gazzola yesterday on the Oil Stream said he asked about him to the media people in the organization.
Got taken aside.
And they were like, let's not even bring that up. So I don't know what's going on with Victor Arvidsson.
Tommy better watch it. We may never see him again. Eh?
That's the thing. Wheels over the nasty chat says, this holiday season, I will guess any present that you buy, and it will be 100% accurate. Like he's one of the guys from Wedding Crashers. Remember Owen Wilson
He's
could
a
guess all the
savant.
wedding?
Yeah, he's never knew it.
So Oilers and Golden Knights tonight. We'll see how that one sorts itself out. Stuart Skinner has been pretty good. His last 2 games, he's got like a .952 save percentage. 3 of his last 4 games have been good. The blip on the radar was the game against Minnesota. Not a good performance in that game. Mind you, not a good performance from many people on the team in that game against Minnesota. Minnesota by far the better team in that hockey game. But outside of that, Skinner's been trending in the right direction as well. And we'll see what ends up happening on that front. 3 games last night in the National Hockey League. It'll be a busier slate tonight. We'll get to that a little bit with Craig Button when he pops by. But what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 games tonight. 10 games tonight, including an early look at the Blue Jackets in Alberta as they take on the Calgary Flames.
An emotional return, I guess, for that. Club.
You know what? There'll be some, and that'll be a tough one. 10 games tonight. We'll set them all up on the Lock Shop today. It'll be a heavy hockey episode of the Lock Shop from 11 to 12 with myself and Huss. Last night, the Devils got by the Rangers 5-1. The Toronto Maple Leafs taking care of business.
Austin Matthews.
Shutout going into the third, but couldn't finish it off. Austin Matthews opened the scoring.
He Stolarz in his shades when he got announced there on the...
What's that?
You see him with the shades?
No, I didn't.
Post-game? He was one of the stars, I think, first stars.
He had shades on the ice?
Skated out with shades on, yeah.
Has there ever been a cooler dude?
It's a cool organization. Black jerseys, wearing the shades. It's
the Dallas Stars doubling up Utah Hockey Club 2-1 there as well. Chris G says, Victor Arvidsson was last seen taken from a park in a van from a guy with a dirty stash who apparently works at EST on the Nielsen Show. That sounds like YouTube Trev. Sounds like Trev
that
has
matches
abducted.
The description.
Yeah, Trev abducted him, but Maddie's hiding him. Maddie's got him with the rest of his prisoners.
In the freezer, the chicken.
In the spare bedroom downtown, way up high.
I like to think a storage locker just out of town.
Is that where Maddie keeps the victims?
You know those plots of land, all those stories? He's got one in there.
We joke about it now, but you realize if that ends up being true, we're all going to be complicit because they're like, well, you guys wouldn't have been joking about Maddie being a serial killer if you didn't have any sort of idea about it.
It's the perfect crime.
Yeah. That'd be tough for us.
Hell, yeah.
That would be tough. All right, Nasty Chat. If you're watching today, hammer the thumbs up for us over there. Sub to the channel if you haven't already. We are very close to 10.6K on the subs, so we would appreciate that, and very much look forward to hitting that number. Very much looking forward to trying to get up to about 11,000 subs, which will be the next milestone that Maddie will allow us to celebrate.
I think by the end of this hour, we should be quite close, given what could pop off.
Well, I guess we'll see about that. Look, we're gonna get to a lot of Elks talk just after 6:30 today. Great clip from Mark Kilam. We'll have that for you for Fired Up for Gemco Fireplaces. Then we'll dive into the fan zone as well. But let's see their early thoughts on what we saw yesterday from the football team. Rick, what'd you think of the hiring of Kilam? What Hervey had to say about him, and the passion and emotion that Kilam was obviously dealing with yesterday. He's been waiting for this opportunity for like 20 years, and he gets to do it here in Edmonton.
Yeah, congrats to him, and a long time coming. You mentioned, we kind of tongue-in-cheek joke about his interview process and how he's probably either really good at it or really bad at it, depending on which way you want to shave it, not getting that opportunity yet. But another press conference in this offseason for the Elks, which I think a lot of the better words have been spoken. Playing football the way it mirrors the city and the attitude that the city has, all those good things. It's all talk. We'll see if they can walk the walk. Certainly I think one particular individual who's been getting mentioned at all these is Trey Ford. And I think for the fan base here, and let's be honest, most of the fans want to see Trey Ford in some measure of success here in this market. And I think this administration, from the top down to the head coach yesterday, announced in Mark Kilam, they want to work with him. They want to talk with him. They want to get to know him. But I don't think there's any, not that I'm picking up, reading between the lines or any of the gray area, that they want to move on from him. So I think you could probably expect Trey Ford as the quarterback and then somebody else. So that also will tick boxes for people. I think it's pretty easy to kind of come away from these press conferences. It's ooey gooey and mushy. And I know a few people have been texting in, again, tongue-in-cheek, the Elks or the Eskimos bringing back the old boys club. Which, yeah, we talk about that with the hockey team a lot, too. But it's not like they're having, celebratory nights. This was a little different. I think a lot of people wanted this football team to go back to a way of dealing with the day-to-day business and the football ops in a way that was more sentimental to the community. I think you heard Morris talk, too, about, the tie-ins with minor football and everything like that, grassroots. So that's what you got to do. Whether it works or not on the field, that'll remain to be seen, but I think aside from Rick Campbell getting this HC job, this is kind of stacked up how most fans thought it would. And I think moving forward now with what I mentioned too, Mark Kilam, that's all great. Who are the coordinators? You're probably looking now at a JC Sherritt and or Jordan Maximic. And if you give me those three going into a season with a lot of excitement and a lot of good words spoken, I think it's pretty easy to sell, and I think it's pretty easy for an Elks fan to get behind as well. What happens after that, who knows? But I think they've checked all the boxes.
Trev, you were over here monitoring it yesterday because we were running the availability on the lock shop, and we were all sitting out there. But I heard you a couple of times in here when Kilam said a few things. You were like, "Oh,
that's nice. I like that." Yeah. I had some comments to say. He's from Lethbridge. That was cool. He went to LCI, which is rival school to which I went to, Winston Churchill. So LCI's colors green and gold. So he's always had that green and gold. Those are the two schools
right next to each other. Are those which ones?
They're not.
They're not.
No. They're like Winston Churchill's like north side.
Oh, okay. All right.
LCI
is like right next to another school.
Yeah, it is. It's like the middle school, elementary school kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was cool. I was pretty fired up. I heard Hernan just celebrating, and then that kind of got me fired up. But he's saying all the right things. All these guys are, so that's pretty cool. And then I also liked Maddie's take on it yesterday when he got dunked on by Reed Wilkins, but he seems to like it, so I also like it.
I thought Reed made a good point, and it's true. It'd be pretty hard. And you'd have to be pretty not with it to go into a press conference and have us coming out of it being like, well, he didn't say all the right things. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Usually, even with all the coaching staffs we saw with the Oilers that didn't last. Like the head coach, usually when the hire first happened, you're like, oh yeah, he said all the right things. Like it's hard to not say the right things. I just thought the emotion
tone
that you saw come out from Kilam made a little bit of a difference there as opposed to just robot going through the motions for an availability.
That's a good point.
I thought that was a little bit different. I like seeing somebody who gets emotional like that. He cares about it.
Like
it means a lot.
Like you listening to it.
I am, but I'm an emotional guy myself, so I get pretty fired up about that as well. Now, you know what? We'll save it because we're going to get to it. We're going to clip from Kilam that I think should have people fired up. It should have Elks fans fired up. It should have citizens of this city fired up. So we're going to get to that coming up for a segment we like to call Fired Up for Jimco Fireplaces. So we'll get into that. The fan zone as well, still coming down the pipe. If you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us. That would be greatly appreciated. Let's change 100 here. Where are we at right now? What are we looking at right now? 86. We're changing 100 by the time this guy starts his update, for goodness sake. So hammer the thumbs up for us there. Fan Zone is on the way. Craig Button will help us set up the Oilers and the Golden Knights just after 7 o'clock as well. And a special treat for you OG Nasties coming down the pipe after this update, which has us very excited as well. If you were so excited about the Kilam hire that you were watching it at your house and you had a football in your hands, and then Kilam was like, we're going to build a team for this city, and you threw your football through your living room window, well, Nisku Glass will come and fix it for you. And they'd love a hilarious story as well. So share that with them. Eric's got the update.
The Denver Broncos keeping pace in the AFC wildcard race with a wild 41-32 victory over the Browns. Jerry Jeudy, 235 receiving yards and a touchdown on his return to Denver. Jameis Winston, meanwhile, setting a Browns record with 497 passing yards in the loss. Week 14 will kick off Thursday when the Packers visit the Lions. 3 games in the NHL last night. Austin Matthews scored in his first goal since returning to the Leafs lineup as Toronto topped the Blackhawks 4-1. Leafs have won 9 of 11. Struggles continue for the Rangers. They fall 5-1 to the Devils. New York have lost 6 of 7, and Dallas picking up their 3rd straight victory, holding off Utah 2-1. Oilers in Vegas tonight to face the Golden Knights as Edmonton look to make it 4 straight wins. You can join Tom Gazzola. He'll be at Boston Pizza Westgate for your GCL Diesel pre- and post-game shows. Coverage begins at 7 here on EST. Oilers Knights, one of 10 games around the NHL this evening. Over to the NBA, where the Celtics back in the win column with a 108-89 win over Miami. Bulls top in the Nets, 128-102. Timberwolves blowing out the Lakers, 109-80. LeBron James just 4 of 16 shooting for 10 points. Hawks have won 4 straight following a 124-112 win over the Pelicans. New Orleans have lost 9 in a row. NBA Cup group stage action will wrap up tonight with 11 games, including the Raptors at home to the Pacers. Sports Update brought to you by Nisku Glass. We want to thank EST and all the listeners and viewers, and what better way than to give them a deal? Mention Edmonton Sports Talk or present your Nasty Club membership for a 10% discount on windshields, glass, or any of your window and door orders. Call us today to get that ugly broken windshield replaced or to start planning your winter and spring renovation projects now.
Look, I just got to say, we're still here. If everybody else can play, like everybody else is playing them now, why not us? Oh my God. Woo. Somebody get me a cigarette. And I don't even smoke. Also, today's show will not be available in Russia or Belarus.
Yeah.
Wow. My goodness. That felt real nice, didn't it?
Cam said he thinks he might cry. This is like you and the Kilam presser.
This is me now.
It's more emotional.
God, I miss those guys. What a resurgence for Creed, man. Like, incredible. Like, we sat there while they were dead and not together for 12 years.
Scott
with
Stapp
Creed
went
Tuesday.
nuts.
And then,
like, he went off the board. He was seeing aliens and everything. They couldn't probably sell a Union Hall at one point.
Yeah. And if they were to come to Edmonton and go to Rogers Place, I swear to God, they would sell it out faster than any place they've sold out on any of these little mini tours they've been doing.
They had that cruise, remember?
They had the cruise.
Yeah.
My buddy Maddie and Saker went to see them in Nashville, and they're like, "Hey, you got to come with us on this trip." And it was Nitty Gritty Dirt Band the night before, and then Creed, and it was during the West Final. I was like, "I can't come. I have to be in Winnipeg," and they said it was absolutely amazing.
And Hockey Night in Canada.
Well, and then they get the Hockey Night in Canada.
Doesn't get bigger than that.
Like, it's unbelievable. JCD780 says, after Dusty's sickness, he's realized life is too short to worry about copyright claims. I mean, well, here's the thing. Like, we played Moni Moni on Friday, and it got copyrighted in Russia and Belarus, so our videos weren't available to be watched.
Can you not even access YouTube in Russia? I don't think. Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It doesn't really matter.
I don't know. I don't even know how it works. But our channel isn't monetized. Like, we don't get money from views. And anytime we get copyright claim, it's like, this makes no impact until you monetize your channel. So we're just like, well, we'll monetize the channel, and it seems to be okay thus far. With that being said, who knows? Reed and Jay had a claim the other day that took their show down for a bit. I had to clip it out.
Really?
Yeah, they played a video of the Raccoons theme, and it got their video blocked in North America.
Of course.
Yeah. I don't know. It was kind of funny. So anyway, that felt right. That felt really good. I mean, this is nice.
Hold me now.
Oh. Man, come on. Like, that was a lot of fun. Had to do it. We had to do it. And Wanik has given us approval. He goes, let's just see how it goes.
Yeah.
I was like, all right.
It's a test. This is a test.
Let's see how it goes. All right, you can text us anytime. Trev, what'd you think of this? Is your first taste of it. We never done it with you.
I've only heard stories of Creed Tuesday.
Yeah, you have.
And this lived up to it.
Did it live up to it?
Oh boy, that was great.
That is a hell of a thing for you to say to me.
Thank you.
I love hearing
Wait
that.
till you hear the same
you, boys.
six played over and over again for multiple
Oh,
years.
I can't wait.
That's when it really gets good.
That is true.
Jesus. Like,
We did only have like 6. Oh, I don't care though.
No, I know.
I mean, it was great. Yeah, so you'll probably hear that with Sound of the Day coming up a little bit later on. I do want to give a shout out to, and I did this on Twitter last night as well, but EST Afternoons, Hernan Salas, Joaquin Gage, and then the Reed Wilkins show yesterday, who did open up their TV. Excellent coverage yesterday of the Elks hire of Mark Kilam. Ed Hervey was on with Gager and Hernan. They had Rob Maver on as well, and then Randy Chevrier and Mark Kilam were on with the Reed Wilkins show as well. And I'm proud. I'm proudly confident in saying that nobody covers the Edmonton Elks better than Edmonton Sports Talk. It's just that simple. Now, I will say this. Morley and Dave do a phenomenal job covering it for the rights holder, but they need more people. Like, Morley and Dave are kind of,
they're doing the Lord's
two
work.
men on an island covering that team over there.
Yeah.
We are fortunate enough to have a few more bodies to move around. Like yesterday, Murray and Tommy and Maddie had about an hour and 15 minutes of just outstanding CFL conversation on the Hangout, and then that just led into the rest of the day as well. So, I know somebody will be like, I don't care about the Canadian Football League. Well, I don't care if you don't care about the Canadian Football League, because we passionately do care about it over here, and we're going to cover the hell out of this local team. So,
Well, it's Edmonton Sports Talk. So
Yeah,
let's
that
just
too.
Try to remember that.
We'll definitely get into that. Do you have the Mark Kilam clip? Let's get to fired up for Gemco fireplaces, because I mean, for all of you fans out there of the Elks, the Double E, whatever the hell you want to call them, you have to be fired up with what you have seen so far from Chris Morris's availability, from Ed Hervey's availability, and from Mark Kilam's availability yesterday as well. Fired up is Gemco Fireplaces. They've been proudly serving Edmonton area for 45 years and are the authorized dealer for Napoleon fireplaces. Whether it's gas or wood burning, look no further than Canadian-made Napoleon fireplaces. All the Napoleon products you need are available at Gemco, 9281 50th Street. I thought this was where the tone was kind of really set yesterday from Mark Kilam. Here's what he had to say.
Changing 100.
Here's what I know. This team's going to take on an identity that the people of this city can resonate with. This is a city that is not afraid to work hard. This is a city that has grit and a city that has a chip on its shoulder to succeed, and that's what we're going to be about. We're going to be a team that's built tough, that's built for the cold. We're going to be a team that doesn't back down and doesn't turn it down. Okay, we're going to commit to playing a style of winning football, and that's going to look like whatever it takes each and every week. We're going to commit to playing a certain type of football that the people in this city can believe in, and that's important. We're going to be a group that's accountable, not only to each other, but to everybody that came here before us. We're going to stand on the shoulders of the people that built this place and represent the Double E the right way. And if that sounds like a group that you want to be a part of, come on down to Edmonton. Okay, because I'm telling you right now, this is an exciting place to be. And we're going to want to be a part of this, and we're going to get after it up here, and I can't wait.
Woo!
Yeah, it should be come on up to Edmonton.
Yeah.
All the
You
other
say,
organizations
I mean,
are kind of geographically placed down.
Outside of that, it was very good. Outside of that, it was very good. But yeah, sure. Come on up to Edmonton.
He's used to being in Calgary.
Well, that's
what
why.
it
I
is.
mean, it's an easy mistake to make. A team that represents the city, a team that's built for the cold. Are they trading for AJ Ouellette? Like, he just seems like a guy who would be built for the cold. You know. I don't know. I think that clip should fire you up. I'm not saying here, you better go out and support this team and buy season tickets. I mean, with that being said, they are a very affordable rate. But I think that should get fans fired up.
Yeah.
I don't know how it doesn't get you excited. I don't know how this offseason
Said
does
all
not
the right
get you
things.
excited.
Yeah.
What do you think about his look? With the long hair, the dark beard.
Better trim up. Shave those sideburns.
You know what I like? I like next October, it's snowing, and I want to see Kilam on the sideline in full Jon Snow garb. He's got the hair. He's got the beard.
Doesn't need the wig.
It's snowing out. He's got like my Tales of the North thing on the sideline, and people are just like, why is the Elks head coach doing Game of Thrones cosplay on the other side? Like, if you want to throw him for a loop, throw him for a loop. I think that would be interesting. You want to own the North? You want to play in the snow? Well, then you should dress like Jon Snow, King of the North.
Dave the Welder says Kilam is our Dan Campbell.
Man, so many people yesterday. I had people texting me just like, this guy's giving off a Dan Campbell vibe right now. He even kind of sounds like him a little bit if you're to close your eyes and listen.
You wouldn't be able to tell.
Yeah. Well, Dan Campbell's turned out pretty well. Epiphany says, heck, have the entire team dress in LARP. Alternate jersey is just Game of Thrones attire.
Why not?
When you come to the North. You know, Kilam's got me so fired up, we might have to start dropping Tales of the North in the fall.
Holy heck.
Just for the football team in the fall. Can't do it in the summer. It's a weird thing. But, you know, once tide turns post-Labor Day, Tales of the North for the Double E, who says no? Right? Do you say no?
No.
Trev, would you say no to that hilarious thing?
No.
No, and neither would I, because it was my idea. So, man, I put my water in the freezer this morning for a bit, and it is nice and cold. Yeah, it's terrific.
Good on the neck.
It's really good. Pender's Pancake says, hey, who does Kilam think he is? Cavis Reed? Right? If anybody got people fired up back in the day, that was...
He also said a lot of right things.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Aaron St. Pierre says, guys, Edmonton is a city of champions. and not for a while, but says, bring the team some wins. And, that was the question I was going to ask you guys when I sort of hesitated, because we're going to get to the fan zone coming up. Actually, let's get to the fan zone now. The Kilam clip was fired up for Gemco Fireplaces, authorized dealer of Napoleon Fireplaces. Go visit Gemco, 9281 at 50th Street. The fan zone, CFL, Double E fan zone, fansfirst.ca. Buy fans, for fans, no fees. You want to watch the Oilers take on the Blue Jackets Thursday? Get your tickets now at Fans First. Cheapest place to get them. Simple as that. Chris Morris, Ed Hervey, Mark Kilam. We'll see what happens with coordinators, and then they'll start to piece together this roster. 2 questions. I guess let's start with the first one here for the Fan Zone. And, of course, Fan Zone, you can text us at 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999 is where you can text in, and we will get to those. Vic is in there, says, freaking give me a helmet. I'm coming to play in Edmonton. Jed Roberts yesterday was at the availability. He joins the Reed Wilkins show every week. Jay was telling me yesterday, Jed was like, I got one more special team to play.
He's putting on the eye black.
Like he's ready to go. He's me at 29 interviewing Chris Morris for the first time and contemplating leaving radio to go be a redshirt offensive lineman for Chris Morris and have some eligibility left at the U of A. Like these guys, it's intoxicating. It's intoxicating what they're doing. Patience. It's, we've talked about how you can turn things around in the Canadian Football League.
It's the beauty of the league.
But, Chris Morris talked about how the revolving door will not be a thing here in Edmonton anymore. So Morris is committed to Hervey. Hervey's committed to Kilam. Kilam is committed to the Double E and the city of Edmonton. What do you think the level of patience will be from the fan base now that you have these guys in place? You have guys who have significant ties to the organization in place. You have people who passionately care. I was texting somebody yesterday who's around the organization, and he essentially told me for the first time in 7 years, this is a completely different vibe. People want to be down at Commonwealth right now. Like it is, it's complete 180 since a month ago. But how patient do you have to be, Rick? Will the fan base be patient in what might be, a little bit of time to turn this around?
Yeah, results, right? Like that's what you're. I mean, and speaking of the revolving door, I mean, there might be some players. It's the dawning of a new day, so that revolving door might still be open for a bit here as the new regime takes hold of the roster. But yeah, I think certainly with the people in place and the words that have been said, and as you mentioned, the emotion that's been outpouring, I think that buys you a little time. But again, we talked yesterday off air, like this is a league that, and people want to bitch about length of contracts and how you can't get attached to players and they're not here for 8-10 years or whatever it is. The flip side of that, though, is it makes free agency all the more interesting, and you can fix a team
drastically
in a short period of time. You don't got to sell a fan base on we got a 10-15 year project here. In 6 years we'll get that quarterback that's just getting into high school and we'll have the number 1 overall. You can we've seen it in the past so many times with teams. Hell, this season, I mean, Corey Mace, Canadian head coach, turned things around pretty quick in Saskatchewan. In this division and the way things are shaped up now, we talk about timing in sports as well so much. I mean, if you were if this was happening while the Blue Bombers were ascending in their dynasty, shall we say, in the West, but you can argue that things are maybe opening up now, and depending on who the Lions look at as head coach, it's a new era there. The Stamps, they got Vernon Adams Jr. It'll make them better, but it's still an organization that's going through some stuff.
It might make them better. I mean, but they need to do a lot more there.
They need to do a lot more. The Riders are still finding their way, and the Bombers, they have a Grey Cup at home this year, but they are, the expiry date's getting close with that roster, and depending on what Hamilton chooses to do, they may be plucking some executives there. So this is a good time to kind of get in front of it all, get a new regime in place, and start this thing. So I think, again, with the people in place and the things said and the emotion outpoured, it does buy you some time. However, it's not a 5 to 10 year project here. I think they'll get things going and they'll get things righted. And I mentioned earlier that I think the first things that have kind of been said from Hervey and going down the list to Kilam, and even it's on Trey Ford now, and to see what his development is like and surrounding him with pieces and in an offensive line and just insulating him with a playbook and a project that reflect his abilities. So Yeah, again, doing all the right things, I think that buys you a little time. But I'm not going to be waiting here for 5 to 10 years for the results.
Yeah.
This thing can happen pretty quick. And I think I don't think anybody there would disagree with that thought. This was a talented roster last year. Let's be honest. 3 games losing by walk-off field goals and such. I mean, they couldn't
been in the
they
playoffs
couldn't win
last
for
year.
losing, right? Like so you take with what you have, you move on. I'm sure there'll be a few changes, a few revolving doors when it comes to players, but I patience, yes, but this should get turned around.
All right, let's get to some of your text messages, and then we'll get to the next step in this conversation. Scalding Gord is in this morning and says, fans in Edmonton haven't been this excited since the Oilers made all those signings at the start of free agency. Remember those days?
No.
Jeff Jackson was
a
a
big
genius at the time. Jason and Leduc, players really seem to be behind this guy. Is he a player's coach? Does he kill him with kindness?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Kill them all.
I like that one. Scott on a hotel balcony in Beaumont. Grey Cup and Stanley Cup in the same year? Question mark? Wouldn't that be something? Good morning, gentlemen. There has never been more buzz and excitement for the EE Football Club, the Fan Zone. And PT Mark says, guys, season seat holder since 2006. I've heard all this before. Other than a couple of winning years, it's been tough sledding. Kids are having less fun going since they don't win. And they've been season seat holders since birth. They're 13 and 8 years old. Need some wins or my kids are out.
Well, yeah.
I've got a few kids that come to as many games as we can get them to, and they have not watched a lot of Edmonton Elks victories either, but they still have fun at the games. I mean, they do. Now, that's because I guess they were born in the darkness, like his kids, like they don't really know winning. So I'm sure they would have more fun with wins. But Marshall and Muzz go to a game, and they're a little bit let down for a second, and then they're like, can we go run on the field? And they have the time of their life. And that's what they remember leaving the game.
It's also a franchise littered with history, and again, the City of Champions moniker, so there's all that. I mean, this is a blip on the organizational history, really. And to think that they won't get back is... And again, you go down to the tailgate over the past couple of years, if you had no prior idea to what was going on the field with the team, you'd think they're right in the mix.
You think they were a winner, yeah.
It's a fun atmosphere, always has been, even during this blip.
That tailgate is going to be insane if they're like a 9 or 10 win team.
Absolutely.
Man, well, that'll be a good time. Like, since I started calling games for the CFL and TSN, Edmonton has not been a good football team. Like, there's never really been a sense of, the other team's got to be worried coming into Commonwealth when I've been going down to call Elks games. Like, it just never has. And I'm excited to see that for this city, should they get there. Here's the follow-up question for the Fan Zone today. And the Fan Zone, of course, brought to you by Fans First. We got Craig Button coming up to talk Oilers and Golden Knights just after 7 o'clock as the Oil look to sweep this 3-game road trip. Trey Ford announcement next, or offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator in place first?
I'd like to, from the start, I said I'd like to get everything done kind of in lockstep in a uniform process.
So you're thinking coordinators?
I would say that. I mean, Trey Ford and working with a guy like Jordan Maxim, but again, if you're bringing in a guy who likes working with pocket passers or what have you, I don't think it's too complimentary to that.
Well, I mean, how much say do you think an OC would have if Trey Ford's the guy or not? Like, I think that's an organizational call, and the OC is just going to have to work with it, don't you?
Yeah, but why would you also want to, square peg round hole type of thing? That you got to kind of have everybody kind of on the same page, and
but if your OC comes in and goes, I think Trevor Harris is a better fit, you're going to transition the organization.
He can think that, but I don't know why you would hire an OC that. So
you're saying you're going out and hiring an OC that you think would fit well with Trey?
I think it's a little of both. Like, you want to, if the organization is firm on Trey Ford, then I think you'd want to bring in a guy with an imagination and a game plan that mirrors. It's the same with the backup quarterback. And last year with MBT, I get it, and paying the money, but he was totally opposite to what Trey Ford's abilities are. So you got two different quarterbacks trying to execute a playbook with two different skill sets, which didn't really make sense. I would, to answer your question, I'd go coordinators first, and then, do the announcement of Trey Ford, even though they probably know the answer behind the scenes.
If for some reason Trey Ford wasn't the guy, and let's say they go, you know what, we like Trevor Harris, we like Cody Fajardo to come in here, how much shine do you think that would take off what we've been talking about for the last month?
It'd take a bit.
I think
it
so,
would take
right?
a bit. It would take a bit.
I'm just wondering if the organization is almost not backed into a corner or forced into a spot here to keep Trey.
Kind of.
But are they? You're
Well,
like,
they're not forced to do anything, but yeah, the perception of it all is, and all the air around the city is that's the point. And it sucks that we haven't seen more of him to arrive at a better conclusion on his game.
Yeah.
Only spurts.
it's still a bit of a wild card. And he hasn't been able to stay healthy.
Absolutely.
Well, one
Those are
season,
fair
like,
things to say. Yeah.
It's a bit of a risky play, but the upside could be amazing.
And again, if you're starting fresh and anew, he arguably is also in his career right now. So clean slate.
What say you if they don't convince Trey Ford to stay? Now, I think he will because it's the only place in the league he's going to have an opportunity to start. Undebatable. There's no other place that he's going to go and start. Nowhere. So if he's going to start somewhere, it's probably going to be here. But if they don't keep him around, how much of a buzzkill would that be for you? H.E. Pennypacker's in. Calling the Amishman. Let's get to this one. Calling the Amishman. The Fan Zone. I haven't watched the Elks much the last few years because they've been a bad team, and it's hard to portion out my time as I get older. But with all the recent hires, I feel a lot better about the direction of the team and will watch more games this year because I know management and coaching will care more about the organization. And that's just a fact. Like that last statement, I know management and coaching will care more about the organization. There is no way that Chris Morris and Ed Hervey don't care more about the organization than Chris Jones. Like it's just... These guys want this football organization to get back to where it was and for people to care. And I don't know if he ever got that sense with the last guy.
Creed originate from Tallahassee, Florida. This text from Edgewater, Florida, which is a
Amazing.
cozy 4-hour, 7-minute drive away. Boys, I've noticed Kilam on the telecasts. He's watching from Florida, CFL. Whenever they show him, he always has an intensity. He is a fired-up spark plug type of guy. You've seen it, right, on the sidelines and everything. It's just breathing a bit of new life into the roster in the club, and that's
A conch for Buzz. Also, H.E. Pennypacker says, guys, can I get a quick conch for myself and Mrs. Pennypacker celebrating our second wedding anniversary? You got it, man. Guys, I'm already taking in the best event the EE offers in the tailgating. This offseason might get me into the building. That's in from VR Montenegro.
VR Montenegro.
He's almost ready to take that next step.
Can't bring those twisted teas in there, though, with you, buddy.
You know, I'm gonna. Well, I mean, you could be a little bit sneaky, maybe. I'm gonna fire a text. I wonder what ticket sales have been like in the last month for the Elks. Like, I wonder if they're already seeing some people circle back around because of Morris and because of Hervey and because of Kilam. I wonder if ticket sales are. I would have to think they're doing okay. Like, I'd have to think there's been a bump in the last month.
This is what the people wanted, right?
I think it's what they wanted. And that's why we're discussing it in the Fan Zone.
The Fan Zone. Hashtag Fan Zone.
All right, you can keep those text messages rolling in as well. Zulu says, I'll be more confident in the quarterback position when they find out who is behind Ford. Yeah. I mean, it's very interesting. Because, I mean, I look, when I'm calling the games, I'm very excited when Trey's playing because he usually does something where I'm like, oh, my God, what's happening? This is incredible. And it's fun as a play-by-play guy. But we are sitting here, and whenever we discuss Trey Ford, we go, well, he's not going to start anywhere else, and who's his veteran backup going to be? So, I mean, is that not a little weird? Is it not a little strange that, like, we're very pro Trey Ford, but we also don't think he's good enough to start anywhere else, and we think it's important that there's a veteran backup here just in case it goes off the rails? Or is that just the life you live with a young quarterback who is somewhat still unproven?
Tailor-made for Cody Fajardo, would it not be? who still thinks he's got it in the tank, who still thinks who's coming off a couple of years ago Grey Cup MVP, who still probably has in his mind an axe to grind with not getting brought back in Montreal. Oh, no offense to Davis Alexander.
Okay, but let me ask you about Fajardo then. The Elks start 0-3. Trey Ford's only looked okay. Are we going to be calling for Cody Fajardo in week 4? Because I don't think that's the best thing for Trey Ford either.
Do you want to win?
Oh, that's the question.
I just think we have to get off the this organization doesn't exist to make sure that Trey Ford is okay. And I think some people are kind of putting that.
Yeah, but right now the organization kind of
horse.
exists to give him a starter's job when nobody else in the league is.
Sure. And you go from there. But again, if that doesn't work out, you can't, how long are we doing this down the line, right? So, yeah, in that scenario, if it doesn't take, well, you go with a hot hand. And I don't mind a little competition. In the CFL, I'm always for a 1A, 1B type of scenario. You should be able to get along. Whoever's playing well, whoever's playing good at the time, have him in. It's a long season. Things happen. Injuries happen. You mentioned he's had some bad luck injury-wise early on in his career. And I think a guy with Cody Fajardo backing him up, you might gain a step depending on how he's playing and starting the season.
What say you? 780-218-9999. That was a fun conversation. God, I love the Canadian Football League. And I like that this organization is starting to look relevant once again. All right, Craig Button is on the way. Oilers continue a 3-game road trip, wrap up a 3-game road trip tonight in Vegas. We'll get into that with Button. Looks like they're going to roll back the same lineup that looked excellent on the road against Colorado. Talk about some of these World Junior snubs, if you want to call it that. Which one surprises Button the most? We'll talk some Four Nations with Craig Button as well. That is on the way. That roster will be announced tomorrow. Connor McDavid is already on it. Which other Oilers join him? We might get into that a little bit with Craig Button as well. Second hour is absolutely jam-packed. Button's going to join us. We'll get another early bird special locked and loaded for this week. There's a bunch of buys in the National Football League this week, so a little bit less to choose from, but we'll see if we can make it 2 weeks in a row with a winner. Justin Dunk from 3 Down Nation on possible coordinators for Mark Kilam, and weekly confessions still to come as well. That'll be happening around 7:45 today. Right now, let's get to an update for Green Plan with Lieutenant Eric.
Week 13 in the NFL wrapping up last night. It was the Broncos 41-32 victors over the Browns. Jerry Jeudy, 235 yards receiving and a touchdown on his return to Denver, while Jameis Winston set a Browns record with 497 yards passing in the loss. Week 14 will kick off Thursday from Detroit with the Lions and the Packers. Late night in the NHL, Devils over the Rangers 5-1. New York have now lost 6 of 7. The Stars hold off Utah 2-1. Dallas have won 3 in a row, and Austin Matthews scored his first since returning to the Leafs lineup. Toronto topped Chicago 4-1. Toronto have won 9 of their past 11. The Oilers in Vegas tonight to wrap up a 3-game road trip. Looking to make it 4 straight wins. You can join Tom Gazzola. He'll be live at Boston Pizza Westgate for the GCL Diesel pre- and post-game shows. Coverage begins at 7 o'clock here on EST. Oilers and Knights, one of 10 games around the NHL tonight. Over to the NBA last night. Timberwolves over the Lakers, 109-80. LeBron James, 10 points. Just 4 of 16 shooting. Bulls top the Nets, 128-102. Celtics, they're back in the win column following a 108-89 victory over Miami, and the Atlanta Hawks have won 4 in a row following a 124-112 win over the lowly Pelicans. NBA Cup group stage action will conclude tonight with 11 games, including the Raptors at home to take on the Pacers. Sports Update brought to you by Green Plan, providing you with award-winning environmental planning and consulting service, whether it's municipal, industrial, or residential. Plan it right with Green Plan. Visit green-plan.com or call them 780-455-4292.
I can remember back being an 11-year-old kid, about 75 pounds, on the basketball court against a neighborhood bully, kicking his behind left, right, and center. And when it was all said and done, he was a little bit upset, so he punched me in the mouth. My uncles were over on the side observing, talking amongst themselves, adult things. When he punched me in the mouth, I decided I'm running to my uncle. You know what he did? He pushed me it back to him. I went back and punched him in my mouth again. I ran to my uncle looking for protection. Needed a big bro to protect me. He pushed me back again. And you know what I did? I faced him in the eye. And I said, my uncle's not going to help me. So I punched him in the face. And then I looked him in the eye and I said, then what? Now what? Now what? Now what are you going to do?
You're simply the best.
7:04 on the Nielson Show, original Cave Street Pump Up song. Because why not? Lots of Elks talk in the first hour of the show today. What a beautiful day. A high of 5 degrees today.
Yeah, Tommy will be wearing the short shorts in the hangout, I'm sure.
Great.
Hey?
That'll be awesome. Tommy with the short shorts on the hangout today. Terrific. Poor Jasmine. Jasmine will be in. At least she critiques him on his fashion, you know?
Get him to the side.
Yeah.
We don't need that
He's
straight
gotta
on
sit where
shot.
Maddie
Yeah,
usually sits,
exactly. Yeah.
He's not wearing shorts today. No way. Wouldn't that be something, though? I mean, you could. It's that nice out. You could definitely do that. Nielsen Show brought to you by South Fort Chevrolet. Drive a little, save a lot. Go see Daniel and his family-friendly team. Just a bunch of great people out at South Fort Chev. If you want to do business with a good company, we got one for you. www.southfortchev.com. They got mid-size SUVs that are hard to find. They are rolling in here. Equinox, Trailblazer, Trax. A lot of these will be reserved before they even hit the lot. So if you want to get the jump on that, www.southfortchev.com. You can text us anytime in the Paris Jewelers inbox. And, of course, we're coming at you from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio where they got that family festive pack now available where you get like 4 pieces of chicken, 4 tendies, 4 sides, 4 biscuits, which is a tremendous deal unless you have a family of 5.
Will and I were talking. If we had a full bird, we wouldn't squabble at all because we all like different pieces of it. But where are you going? Are you a thigh guy, a breast guy, the drumstick? Like what? You got the full chicken there. What's the piece you're going for?
The drumstick.
Yeah, you like cartoony type of thing. Yeah.
But to be honest, I prefer tenders, you know, as opposed to the full chicken.
The
thing,
backstrap.
You know? Just give me the tendies. All right, let's get to our hockey insider and analyst today. Craig Button, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned sports memorabilia and apparel specialist. The deadline for their private signing with Corey Perry is today at 5 o'clock. So you got to move on this immediately. Submit your items or select from theirs on their website or in store, located in Edmonton in the corner of St. Albert Trail on 128th Ave or online at proamsports.ca. Hey, there he is. Craig Button joins us on the show this morning. Craig, how you doing, my man?
I am fantastic, and guess what? It's warm down here in Calgary too.
Yeah.
I'll be wearing shorts today. I'll be wearing short shorts.
You're playing pickleball outside today, Craig. That's what you're doing.
There's too much snow on the courts, Dustin.
Hey, if you're committed, Craig, you'll shovel that off. Shovel that off and play.
No. I'm committed, but I'm not that committed.
Come on, you'll get that local TV story. Passionate pickleball fan.
Yeah.
Shovels pickleball court to play in winter. That'd be great. You get a buzz on like
Local
CTV
guy.
News. Yeah. Local guy. It cuts to Craig. This should be funny. Craig, we got lots to get to. Let's start with the Oilers. Coming off a real nice road win against the Colorado Avalanche. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10. They've done it without Victor Arvidsson, who's a mystery man at this point. We don't know what's going on with him or when he's going to be back.
I don't think he exists.
Yeah, Hyman is close to returning, but they've done it with Kapanen chipping in. They've done it with Podkolzin scoring 3 goals in his last 3 games. It's nice when other guys step up a little bit to help McDavid and Draisaitl, isn't it?
No, there's no question. Any help that Leon and Connor can get is going to ease the burden on them. And I mean, they're used and accustomed to the heavy lifting. They're not going to shy away from that. You know, when you get your team functioning and the penalty killing is improving, but we've talked about this for a number of weeks now. The Edmonton Oilers process has been really, really good. The penalty killing was bad. You haven't mentioned Stuart Skinner. Stuart Skinner's found form again. I love what Chris Knobloch said. He talked about Stuart's gone through some stretches where, you know, he had those bumps, but he's always found a way to come through them. He's always found a way to come back and be better and be stronger. And I think we're all guilty of it. We tend to take a small recent sample size and apply that as an overall assessment. If we take Stuart Skinner's play last year and take out the first until Chris Knobloch came in, his numbers were outstanding. His play was outstanding. Yeah, he had some stumbles in the playoffs, but outstanding there again. And he struggled this year. He struggled early on this year, but the whole team did in different areas. They got their game functioning again. And when you watch a team do the right things, then you're going to get rewarded. You watch the New York Rangers play. You want to see a team that is doing the right things? Just go watch the New York Rangers. I mean, if it's not for Shesterkin right now, they might be on a 12, 13 game losing streak. I mean, they are really that bad. The Oilers' process was good. And yeah, Podkolzin scoring. Certainly, the play of Brett Kulak. You got a lot of good things going here, and you're going to have a hard time telling me that this isn't a really well-coached team, because they showed it last year and they're showing it again.
Craig, first off, congrats on Michigan's big win over Ohio State last weekend. That was certainly something to watch there. Boy, oh boy, you got to love that. I want to just get your thoughts on Vegas as well. 8-0, they started at home.
With all due respect, we can't just gloss over that. I mean, I thought it was going to be a 35-point loss. And, I mean, Michigan but as I'm reminded once again, the game, it doesn't matter what each team's record is. But that was sweet. That was really, really sweet. To sit back and watch that. I poured my coffee in the morning in my Michigan mug, and I said, I got to do it, even though it might not be a pretty game. But that was nice.
Got to support him. I love it. It was good to see. But Vegas, I want your thoughts on the Golden Knights. Very hot at home to start. Dropping the last 3 of 4, I do believe, from T-Mobile. It's a fun place to go, fun place to watch a game. I know Oilers fans always travel well down there. Should be a great atmosphere tonight, but a few home struggles. Is it chalked up to injury right now? I know they're a little banged up, but what are you seeing? Are the Oilers just getting the Golden Knights maybe at the right time right now?
Well, I mean, hey, listen, I always say this, Eric, don't apologize because a team you're playing has some injuries and everything. They don't feel sorry for you. Don't you feel sorry for them? No. That's the bottom line. It feels to me like Vegas, we could talk forever and a day about Vegas and injury problems. It's a recurring theme with them. And, they find a way to get out and compete. They find a way to overcome those injuries. Sometimes they're a little bit more severe than at other times. But that's just Vegas. That's what we see with their group. And they go out and play. They don't feel sorry for anybody else. Nobody should feel sorry for Vegas. I thought, the game in Utah that the Oilers played was, and then they went into Colorado. And then, Colorado had a pretty good game with the Vegas Golden Knights, both teams traveling. I thought it was textbook. And if the Oilers go and play that way, one thing that we see with Colorado and Vegas, and now we're seeing it with Edmonton now, the term playing fast. Those games, the games are moving at new speeds, and the Oilers are up to that speed. So I think that going into Vegas, whether they're healthy or not, serves the Oilers well because they got their game in order.
Craig Button with us on the Nielsen Show this morning, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. One more on the Oilers, then we'll dive into some Four Nations and some World Junior stuff. Podkolzin could not score, was playing hard, was getting opportunities, could not score for the first 20 games. He's now scored 3 in a row. You picked him up for a 4th-round pick from a division rival, and he looks like a pretty serviceable NHL player. McDavid and Draisaitl speak very highly of him. This was his first second look coming out of the Vancouver Canucks organization. I think he's making the most of it right now. What's that do for a player when a team that drafts you highly kind of gives up on you and somebody else says, you know what, man, let's get a look at you? What can that do for a guy?
Well, I think number one, players have belief in themselves. You're a high pick, and Vasily was a high pick, and you use the word serviceable. He's a highly competitive player.
Yeah.
And I know we look at goals and everything, but Vasily's a player that goes out on the ice, and you know you're going to get the very best of what he has in terms of effort and competitiveness. No fun to play against. But players believe in themselves. And when they don't see it, and early on in a career, and in the case of Vasily being high pick, he just wants an opportunity. And they're itching and chomping at. I don't think they're affected in terms of their belief in themselves. They just need a new place to go and do it. Well, Vasily got that new place. And I think for the Edmonton Oilers, he's just such a nice fit because he's heavy, he's hard, he's consistently on the puck, he's consistently in the guts of the action. And when you go to a new place, and then you're, I don't want to, everybody's accepted, but when you're embraced and really acknowledged for your good play, I think that just reinforces a young player's belief in himself, and I think that's what the Oilers are seeing in Vasily Plagov. This guy's been a tremendous leader in his age group coming up with the Russian with Russia, and as a competitor and as a leader, always been top notch.
Speaking of international hockey, we'll get the Four Nations rosters tomorrow. Is Connor McDavid a lone Oilers wolf on that roster, or does somebody else join him?
I got to be straightforward with you here, and I've said it in other places too. I cannot believe that people don't know how good Evan Bouchard is. Like I just can't believe it. I'm stunned and shocked. I make a joke, you guys. I said, well, just another example. Everybody in the East turns their TVs off at 10 o'clock Eastern time, and they don't see, like how good. Evan Bouchard defensively is very good. Forget about how good he is offensively. He's really good defensively, but there's this narrative around Evan Bouchard. Listen, I'm not going to slag anybody else. Evan Bouchard should be an automatic on this team. What are they going to do? Just put Makar on the power play? He's the only guy that's going to play on the power play? Bouchard's a great power play guy. In fact, when it comes to the power play, I would say that he's better than Makar because he's got the big booming shot. I'm not saying he's better than Makar overall, but on that power play. So to me, like McDavid's on the team, Hyman's been plagued by play that we didn't see from last year. Not that he didn't play hard, he just didn't get rewarded. Then he's coming off an injury. I think that'll hurt Zach. But the bottom line is Evan Bouchard should be on this team. No question. I don't think it even should be a discussion.
Craig Button bringing the heat on Bouchard on the back end.
Patino.
We'll see what ends up happening. What about any chance Skinner gets that third spot?
Yeah, I could see it. I mean, the Canadian goal, I think Hill and Bennington are locks on the team. I think after that, who's going to be your third goaltender? I mean, could it be Stu? I mean, he's played well. Could it be Logan Thompson? Yeah. I mean, I know Mike Johnson and I, went to fantasy hockey.
Yes,
and
you did.
had Joey Decor.
If eligible with the star. I like it. That was good.
Yeah. Anyway, I think it was more of what we were trying to say about Canadian goaltending is that they might have to look far and wide. But Bennington, Hill, and I think after that, could Skinner be in the mix? Yeah, he could be in the mix. But Montembeault, could he be in the mix? Thompson, I think it'll come down to one of those three guys along with Hill and Bennington.
Hey, we can't let you go without talking about the World Junior camp list that went out. And it seemed like, 4 top 10 picks from last year's draft weren't there. I know there was a lot of people fired up about it yesterday. Was there one name not on that invite list that really surprised you, Craig?
In full transparency, I'm never surprised by who doesn't get invited, to be straightforward with you. The quality and depth of talent in this country is second to none. And so when we start to go through it, right, and you start to go through and I believe the 05 birth year, the 06 birth year, the 07 birth year, and yes, the 08 birth years, I think Canada's positioned to get on another golden run here at the World Junior Tournament to the quality of player. So every year there's going to be this type of kind of hand-wringing and why isn't this player here, why isn't that player there? So we have Jack Ivankovic, a 17-year-old goaltender going. We have Matthew Schaefer, 17-year-old defenseman going. We have Gavin McKenna, who's not available to the 2026 draft going. We have Porter Martone, a top player. So we have 4 young players going to the tournament. Then let's go to the 19-year-old players. You better unseat some of the 19-year-old players. And then you start to look, like Berkeley Catton, Jet Luchenko, Sam Dickinson, right? So what's the mix? It's not just one player or one spot. Everybody just picks out one player. Yeah, TJ Ginla's good, and Beckett Seneca is good. They're all good. Zane Perek is good, and Carter Yakimchuk is good. The only one, and I'm saying the only one that I would be Joshua Ravensbergen, the goaltender in Prince George. They were all right there in consideration. And guess what? They're all going to be counted on. Yakimchuk, no, because he's not eligible. Oh, no, yeah, he's not eligible next year. But the other guys are going to be counted on. But when you start to look at the team, the only two guys that I would have considered would be Perek and Yakimchuk for the power play. That offensive guy, Cale Makar type, even be a seventh defenseman like he was on the 2018 team. They're going to count on Bo Aki, the Edmonton Oilers draft pick, and it's like great for Bo to be there. But I will say this, and I will say it unequivocally. Bo Aki has never come close to Perek and Yakimchuk at any stage of his career versus those guys. So that would be my only quibble, to have one of those guys there in that spot. But they believe in Bo Aki, and it comes down to this. And it comes down to this every single year. They're going to be hand-wringing and maybe some criticism over their picks. You win gold, it all goes away. If you don't...
That's true. It's true.
The heat turns up. But this is a quality group. It really is. And it was expected that you would have some and that was the quibble might not even be the right word. Everybody's going to have different choices. I would have had one of those two guys there.
Excellent. Always a pleasure, man. We'll do it again next week.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go. That's Craig Button. He's the best. I could talk World Juniors with that guy for hours. Matthew Schaefer on the back end. I did the Holinka with Craig. Matthew Schaefer's a phenomenal defenseman, man. Like, that guy has franchise defenseman written all over him. A huge fan of that kid. Oilers should tank to get him.
Big deal in the dub yesterday, too.
Yeah. Yeah, Jaeger to the Lethbridge Hurricanes.
Seventh place in the East Lethbridge Hurricanes for a
they're not
picks.
messing around. They're let's get out. Well, the Hurricanes started really well, I think.
They're 0-5.
And then they were just on a road trip, had a really tough November.
Yeah.
And I think you're looking at that team going, okay, well, they think they've got the pieces. They're missing one of the big boys.
Yeah.
And Jaeger's one of the big boys.
That's what you got to do in the juniors.
Well, Moose Jaw's making the right call here.
Yeah.
Right? You move some of these guys, get your picks, and in 3 years, you're really good again.
Exactly.
It feels so hard to sustain something special in junior hockey.
It's a cycle.
But the cycle is so obvious that if you do it correctly, you should have a pretty good team every
like
4 to 5 years.
Tanking
right?
in the pros to get a draft lottery pick if you can identify a generational talent.
All right, how about Craig Button on Bouchard? Oh, Trev, what'd you think? I saw you over there.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
I liked it. I really like it. And it's interesting because, Craig's obviously he's a very credible guy. And when he says it, people are like, oh, and like there's at times like I kind of want to say like, he's not bad defensively, but I feel like I'd get chirped in the nasty chat. So I hold back and I don't say it. But yes, he does have his defensive blunders. Who doesn't?
There are blunders.
Who doesn't? You saw what he was able, and we talk about it. He's a slow starter, yes, but watch what he was able to do in last year's playoffs. There was more, like he was so efficient in his own end. His quick, first pass ups, like he can be really, really good. But I think it's just the mistakes that he makes are so bad.
Yes.
That people just they don't forget about those.
And I think the blunders that you see from him defensively sometimes look like they're related to effort.
Yes.
And that drives people insane, as it should.
Yes.
Right? But that's why they're so glaring, because you're like, well, he didn't even try there. He looked completely out.
He's got to scowl more. If he scowled more and moved around more mad and quick, it's like an office.
Yeah,
you're moving around fast and you look mad. People are like, oh, you're working hard.
I couldn't agree more with that. And you said it at the beginning of the season. Like, I don't think he's worked a sweat on a single game, a single shift this whole season. And that kind of stuck with me. I'm like, it's kind of the player that he is. But when Will was on, he talked about it. He's like, you can have smart players that don't really need to use their speed. And he's not a fast player. He uses his smarts to, get himself positionally in better places positionally, so he's not out of place. But Yeah, I mean, I like what he had to say, and as for the power play as well, I mean, Cale Makar, I'd probably take him for sure as the one spot, but Bouchard is
Button made an interesting
no
point with
slouch in his
Bouchard's-
own right.
with his
he's
shot.
got the bomb.
Yeah.
Like Cale Makar isn't doing that as much as Evan Bouchard is.
Do you think Team Canada runs the McDavid power play like the Oilers run a power play, whereas they just stay out there for the full 2 minutes? Or when you've got so much talent on Team Canada, are you mixing in a second power play unit? Like it's hard. It's hard to be like, hey, McDavid, Crosby, McKinnon, Makar. That wasn't very good 30 seconds in. You're off. Let's put out unit 2. Like, I just don't see a world where that happens. I mean,
I'd keep those guys out
how do you
there
not let
and
those
just
guys
say,
run, right?
it.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, what do you think? 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. If you're watching live and you haven't subbed yet, we know there's a lot of you. So sub to the channel. We would very much appreciate it. Craig Button brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. If you want to chime in on that, we are going to build our Team Canada on 2 guys and a goalie today. Woo. Myself, Cass, and Gager, we're going to try to come to a consensus on a Team Canada. So we'll see how that sorts itself out. I hope it leads to some vicious arguments amongst friends until we finally get to that one roster that sort of looks pretty
You're
good.
just building one roster, correct?
One roster
Okay.
between the 3 of us. Yeah.
You should build 5.
No. Well,
Then somebody will be correct eventually. Like
one will
you go
eventually
through
be
all the
correct.
options. And
yeah,
then
is
you can-
anybody doing that contest where, like, if you correctly predict Team Canada's roster, you win $1 million? They did that before, right? Didn't they do that on one of the Olympic rosters back in the day, I think? I might be
That's
wrong.
news
It
to
might
me,
be
but
like the
I
DJ
like
in
that.
me who's like, that's a really fun idea.
I think it's a great idea. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, that would be a kind of a fun contest. Anyway, we're going to do that on 2 guys and a goalie today. High noon right here on Edmonton Sports Talk as we kick off another great day. Round-the-clock coverage live on TuneIn, on iHeart, at edmontonsportstalk.com as well. We'll have the hangout today from 9 to 11. Tommy, Maddie, Jasmine, I know those 3 are in for sure. I don't know if they have a 4th joining them today. I'll be back with the Lock Shop at 11. Big slate in the National Hockey League tonight, so Huss and I will dive into that. Team Canada roster construction with myself, Cass, and Gager at noon today. EST afternoons with Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage. And then the smash hit Reed Wilkins show from 3 to 6. Marshall and I were listening to Reed and Jay yesterday when we were driving to get his haircut around 4 o'clock. We were listening. And I looked back one time, and Marshall's just sitting in the back seat like this. He's got, for everybody listening on TuneIn, I heard just kind of like, not smiling, but like a happy grin and just like, and I looked back at him and I said, buddy, what are you happy about? What are you laughing at? And he goes, Reed. It's just like, he's a big fan of Reed Wilkins, as is his daddy. Like, it's a terrific show.
He too has heard enough of your fantasy team, eh? Like,
Yeah,
it's
pretty
got the
much.
Same type of thing.
If you have not yet checked out the Reed Wilkins show, please do. I'm telling you, once you listen to it once, you'll realize it is the best show in the city every single afternoon talking sports. Undoubtedly. Like, I would put my reputation on that. Listen to Reed and Jay once, and you'll be like, oh, yeah, this totally makes sense. I see what you're talking about. Definitely check them out. All right, let's do this, boys. We got to get to an early bird special because the boys are hot. The boys are hot.
The wheel is just.
The wheel is just, and the boys are hot for our partners over at Coolbet Canada. On the Lock Shop today, I will have an EST parlay for you. So if you want to ride tonight, and we cashed that actually on Saturday as well against Colorado, EST parlay hit. Or no, it was Friday against Utah. The parlay hit. We didn't do one on Saturday because it was the weekend. But all right, let's take a look at the lines in the National Football League this week. Packers and Lions on Thursday. Join Eric, Century Casino, Sports Bar and Lounge, Fort Road. The Lions are 3.5-point favorites there. We just pick winners, so it doesn't matter. Lions minus 182 favorites. The Dolphins are minus 323 favorites against the Jets. What a debacle the Jets are. The Vikings at home against the Falcons, minus 238 favorites.
Cousins return.
The Saints on the Cousins revenge game, but it's not prime time. Kirk's a big prime time guy.
Mr. Prime Time, that's what they call him, yeah.
The Saints minus 238 on the road. The Eagles are huge favorites against the Carolina Panthers.
That's the one. Can we all pick that one?
Are you going to the
Can
Eagles?
we all just pick that one?
Somebody's got to take the Eagles.
Yeah.
The Steelers minus 286 against Jameis and the Browns. Bucks Raiders is off the board on money line, but the Bucks are a 7-point favorite there. Oh, I like the Bucks in that game too, boys. Titans at home against no Trevor Lawrence and the Jags. Cardinals are at home against the Seahawks. That's probably a stay away game for this.
Huge game, yeah.
Bills on the road, just minus 208 favorites against the Rams. The Niners are home favorites against the Bears. The Chiefs and the Chargers, the Chiefs are the favorite there. And then the Monday nighter, Cowboys and Bengals.
This is a sketchy week.
I think there's 3 or 4 games. I know the path I would take if I was doing this solo. So let's find out. Let's give Trev first crack at it. Trev, who are you adding to the early bird special here?
I picked them last week, and they did good. So I think I'm going to ride with them again. Steelers over the Browns.
I love it. I love it.
I like what Tanier had to say. I'm loving it.
Russ is cooking. The Browns will be on a bit of a shorter week. So, all right. So we got the Steelers in there at minus 286. Lieutenant Eric,
Eagles.
where are you going? You're going Eagles?
Somebody's got to take him. And
Very little value,
free
but
space in the bingo.
very
If we're picking
convincing.
winners.
All right, so we're only at minus 181. So Dusty has to decide, do I try to add something to bump up the value, or do we just play it totally safe and get to like 2-1? And all right. Let's see here.
People are all over the Bears here. Bears could actually win. How are you not taking the Bears road dogs?
Look, we're not throwing the Bears into the parlay, but I totally agree with you. I do think the Bears can beat a banged-up Niners squad. Boys, I think we got to go Bengals in here as well. Joe Burrow's just been slinging
Monday
it.
night in
Monday
the Big
night
D.
against the Dallas
Monday
Cowboys.
night in the Big D, yeah.
Like, can Cooper Rush keep pace with what the Bengals are going to do?
Yeah, we're still so hot over that Cowboys' big Thanksgiving win over the Giants.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean-
don't be blinded by that, is what you're saying.
I think that's where I want to go. What's that get the number to? Just plus 117. Boy, this is a coward's parlay.
We pick
I don't know if
winners.
I've ever
We
put
pick-
together a
you said we
parlay
pick
that's just.
winners.
I know.
We're
I
picking
mean,
winners.
we are here to pick winners. We are here to pick winners. When I send this to Jake, he's gonna give me like that. What are they? That B face, like one of those things. What about the Titans?
Yeah.
Titans at home against the Jags. No Trevor Lawrence. Titans
Trevor
trying
Lawrence.
to bounce back.
Yeah.
No, look here. We're just trying to deliver a win.
We're just trying to pick
Bengals,
winners.
Eagles, Steelers. Let's do it. That'll be your early bird special. It's plus 117. Plus, we'll get a little bit of a boost from the boys. So when we put that up, it'll be available at coolbet.com. And if you haven't signed up for an account yet, use the code LOCKSHOP when you do. It'll be available in the combo cards right at the top when you log in. Combo cards are right along the top. That's where you'll be able to find that one. Plus 117. We'll all be known as cowards for the rest of our days.
Winners.
Or winners. That's right. Can you imagine at this time of the year going back to back
Man,
with the early bird special?
Can't wait till the Panthers squeak this one out.
Oh, man. If we lose on the Eagles, you're out. You're
Sure.
out of the next early bird
I
special. Not
quit.
that you care.
Yeah,
but yeah. All right. We'll see how that goes. All right. Coming up next, Justin Dunk's going to join us. Mark Kilam is the man. But who comes with? What coordinator should we expect to see roll into Edmonton with Mark Kilam? We'll get into that with Justin Dunk from 3 Down Nation. He's going to pop by over the phone just after 7:30. And weekly confessions are on the way. What do you need to get off your chest today? Text us your confessions to the Paris Jewelers inbox at 780-218-9999. Right now, let's get to an update for the great staff at Park Mazda.
Well, some NFL news off the field this morning. The league suspending Texans linebacker Azeez Al-Shaair 3 games for the hit that he delivered Sunday to Jags quarterback Trevor Lawrence. Week 13 wrapping up last night from Denver. The Broncos winning a wild one, 41-32 over the Browns. Week 14 will kick off Thursday with the Packers visiting the Lions. Light night in the NHL, 3 games. Devils over the Rangers 5-1. Austin Matthews scoring his first since returning to the lineup. Leafs top the Blackhawks 4-1. And the Stars hold off Utah 2-1. Oilers in Vegas tonight to face the Golden Knights. Edmonton looking to make it 4 straight wins. Join Tom Gazzola at Boston Pizza Westgate for the GCL Diesel pre- and post-game shows. Coverage begins at 7 here on EST. Oilers Knights, one of 10 games around the NHL tonight. Over to the NBA, where NBA Cup group stage action will wrap up tonight with 11 games, one of which will see the Raptors at home to Indiana. Last night, it was the Lakers falling 109-80 to the Timberwolves. Celtics back in the win column, defeating Miami 108-89. And Atlanta have won 4 straight following a 124-112 win over the lowly Pelicans. New Orleans have dropped 9 in a row. Sports Update brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and dealer Principal Mitch Lewicki, who's already ruled himself out as new DC of the Edmonton Elks.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki with like a giant eagle's wings and singing lead vocals for Lynyrd Skynyrd with like an angel band. And I'm in the crowd hammered drunk.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
On the Nielson Show, kicking off another great day of content here on TuneIn and iHeart, on YouTube and at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Nielson Show presented to you by South Fort Chevrolet. Go see Daniel and the family-friendly team out at South Fort Chev. Drive a little, save a lot. We're coming at you from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studio this morning, where they launched yesterday the Festive Family Box, featuring 4-piece signature chicken, 4 tendies, 4 regular sides, 4 biscuits, with an option for a 4-drink bundle upcharge as well if you want to get the drinks in there as well. $30 to feed the whole family, a family of 4. I think the 2 of us and Trev, so the 3 of us and like Zacticum should go in and pretend we're all brothers. Me and my brothers are here for some Popeyes chicken. We want the Festive Family Box.
I think Big Z could probably take down that whole deal himself there.
So, yeah.
We'd have to get our own.
Oh, Zacticum, what a pig.
Eats for a family.
Yeah.
He's a growing boy.
Yeah, he is a growing boy, especially with that goatee right now. I remember when I was like 23, I had the exact same goatee that Zacticum's growing right now. Little ginger, and it's okay, but it's not great. You know? Just being honest, as a boss of Zacticum, I have to be honest.
He'll take it.
Yeah. All right, let's get to Justin Dunk. 3 Down Nation. Busy offseason going in the Canadian Football League, and I absolutely love it. Obviously, Dunk would love it as well. Lots
Best
of stuff
offseason in pro sport.
Why not? Why not? Let's say it. There you go. Hot takes mitt for Lieutenant Eric. Dunk, good morning. How you doing, buddy? Oh, wait a sec. We're going to have to reset. The call ended. He hung up on us.
He's out.
Unbelievable.
He's going to get that Popeyes deal, hey?
That must have been it.
I'm out of here.
Yeah. For him and the John Hodge.
Too good. Yeah. For the 3 Down Nation.
For the 3 Down crew.
Feeding the nation.
That does make sense. We'll reconnect with Justin Dunk and find out who the coordinators. Dunk's very. I mean, I don't know.
May I also, if we have time, ask him about the Ticats GM search? Of course, Ed Hervey leaving the seat empty there, and
apparently down to 2,
and a mystery candidate.
A mystery candidate. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, keep it interesting.
Yeah, what the hell? A mystery candidate? Yeah. That's
Stanley
kind of,
Bryant yesterday too. 1-year deal back.
Stanley Bryant got away. Yeah, this offseason is really heating up.
It's already going on. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think we might have to launch CFL off-season show every single day.
You could do it
right after the Reed Wilkins show from 6 to 7
with Will Fraser.
All right, Trev, we got him. Let's see, Dunk, you there?
Hey, let's go.
There he is. Justin Dunk in the house. Dunk. First of all, your takeaway from the Kilam presser yesterday. What'd you think of what he had to say?
Love it, man. This guy just has that it factor. It's been a long time coming, and dare I say, the Edmonton Elks are getting a bargain here in the sense that I think he should have been a head coach before, but Edmonton gets him. It's clear that he has so many connections to the franchise. It's an ideal fit all around.
You know, a lot of people coming out and showing support for him before the hire. As a guy who's labeled a bit as a player's coach, how much does this help recruitment coming up for Ed Hervey and Kilam when they're going out and trying to get to work in free agency?
Well, this is going to be major for the Edmonton Elks. Let's remember that it wasn't too long ago Kenny Lawler spit some fire, mainly directed at Chris Jones, talking about what it was like there being with the team. This is going to be the complete opposite, guys. Like, this is going to be up there, you know, with a guy like Corey Mason, Saskatchewan, who is held in high regard by the players, who's direct and honest. And holds them to account. This is going to be, I think, very key in terms of that player recruitment. When, if we're talking in the CFL, guys, especially free agency, the difference might be, $5, $10, $15, $20,000.
Yeah.
So if it's minimal and a player believes they can make it back in the playoffs, that part of it is going to be critical.
What are you thinking for coordinators? What are you hearing for people who might come with Kilam? Because it's obviously going to be extremely important.
Indeed it will. So I'll kind of give you the lay of the land here, because I believe from what I've heard, if Jordan Maksimic does not get the head coach job in BC, I think he'll be the front runner or the likely candidate to be the offensive coordinator there. If Maksimic gets that job as the bench boss in BC, and I think a guy like Beau Baldwin could fit. He's been the quarterback's coach with the Calgary Stampeders. Actually, it was his first year last year with them. And this is a guy that you go back to his NCAA coached guys like Michael Riley, Bo Levi Mitchell, Vernon Adams Jr., and Matt Nichols. So he knows what it's like to transition these guys to successful CFL quarterbacks. I think that could be a great name. I've heard he's great with players too as a budding young coach. So offensively, I think that's where I could see it going. Defensively, I've heard a lot of buzz about J.C. Sherritt going there. He interviewed in Ottawa and Calgary, didn't yet take any of those positions, so that leads me to believe that he could potentially be the front runner as defensive coordinator. The one caveat to that is that, from what I've been told, Jason Shivers is under contract for 2025. So perhaps he's a veteran voice that can help J.C. Sherritt in his first year as DC.
Dunk, just sticking with Maksimic and this whole domino process, we know he's involved in BC in that head coaching talk. We know Buck Pierce has mentioned, and Mike Benavides also joining the fray. How does that kind of stack up in terms of, how would you rank the likelihood? Because, again, as you mentioned, if Maksimic does get that, we can forget about it here. And maybe, as you mentioned, Beau Baldwin enters into the equation. But where do you kind of see shaping up in BC? And also, just on another note, where does that leave Rick Campbell moving forward in terms of employment?
All right, so BC first, and this is not me necessarily judging these men. This is kind of based on what I've heard.
Yeah.
If you keep Jordan Maksimic there as your head coach, not to say that he's not ready or couldn't do it, then from a Mardoman's perspective and even Ryan Rigmaiden, kind of what are you changing? Right? Because his staff might be somewhat similar in BC. Not saying you can't do it, right? But this is just what people are talking about behind the scenes. Mike Benavides would be a little bit of a blast from the past. Did have a really good regular season record. I think it was 33-21, actually. And there's all this excitement about Rick Campbell. You guys know what his career win-loss record is in the CFL? It's below 500, 82-92. So people are talking about Benavides getting a second chance. I don't think the reaction from what I've seen online that would necessarily go over well with the fan base. So that leads me to Buck Pierce being the favorite there, which I had heard all along, going back to Grey Cup week. So I think that's kind of how it stacks up there. As it relates to Rick Campbell, I think there's some options here for him. If he wants to be a defensive coordinator in the CFL this season, that's possible, potentially in Ottawa or Calgary, where he's worked before. But he could also sit the year out because he's got his salary sitting there. He can collect it and see what the coaching spinoff brings next year.
I just also wanted your thoughts, Dunk, on Hamilton and that vacant GM position, obviously with Ed Hervey now in Edmonton here. Are they looking Blue Bombers, Ted Govia, and does that leave Dan McManus? Or I also heard that there's this mystery candidate, which I find rather intriguing.
Oh, boys, what a scenario this is. Okay, so from what I've heard, I do believe that Ted Govia is the, let's say at this point, leading candidate to get this job. I don't understand where this mystery candidate idea came from, to be quite honest. I'll be directly honest with you guys. I think this is from the Scott Mitchell playbook, him trying to grind down the GM salary with this mystery candidate. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but based on talking to people around the league, that's what they think is going on.
Justin Dunk with us from 3 Down Nation. Dunk, let's move from coaching to quarterbacks, because there's a lot to be determined here with these quarterbacks once free agency opens. Let's just start here in Edmonton. How surprised would you be if Trey Ford is not here? And which veteran quarterback do you think would be the best fit to pair with him this season?
I would be shocked if Trey Ford is not re-signed in Edmonton. Let's put it that way. I think what the Elks have now and the men leading this franchise, Chris Morris, Ed Hervey, Mark Kilam is a lineman at the quarterback position. And I honestly think, based on talking to some people around the league, that was part of the reason why Rick Campbell, I don't want to say wasn't hired necessarily, but I think Rick Campbell would have preferred to have Vernon Adams Jr. over Trey Ford. So now I think it's a good thing that you have that alignment between the three guys at the top. And I think some of this quarterback stuff, Dusty, could get cleared up, well before free agency. I think Trey Ford's a likely candidate to re-sign in Edmonton. I think Trevor Harris is likely to re-sign in Saskatchewan when you look around there. And then you're kind of looking at the backups, which you're getting into in terms of who do you bring in to back up Trey Ford. The most ideal guy, I think, in this situation is Jeremiah Masoli. He's a leader. He's great in terms of, how he conducts himself within the locker room setting. I think Trey Ford could learn a lot from that. And even though Jeremiah Masoli still believes he can be a starting quarterback in this league, I don't think it's going to be that kind of a scenario with him and Trey Ford. Like, he'll understand that and respect that coming in, and it won't be an adversarial relationship. It'll be a relationship that I think will help Trey Ford develop and potentially reach his potential in this league.
Dunk, as always, buddy, great catching up with you, man. Thanks a lot, and enjoy the rest of what should be a wild offseason.
You bet, fellas. Thanks for having me on.
There you go. That is Justin Dunk, 3 Down Nation. Interesting saying, kind of what we were talking about this morning in the 6 o'clock hour. If Jordan Maksimic doesn't get the head coaching job in BC, expect him to come here as an offensive coordinator.
Not just as simple as hiring him as OC, but there's that shoe to drop first that would lead him here to take that job, right?
Yeah.
And so I wonder what BC does. But the Mazzoli thing is interesting as well, because the boys were chopping up on the hangout yesterday. I think Hervey did originally trade him out of market here because he was an original. This is how he got brought into the league.
A long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. But it's just funny how that all kind of happens. But he would be.
That was the trade with Mazzoli, and who else? It was Mazzoli.
Was White involved or something like that?
No, it was who was it? It was a bigger piece than Mazzoli, but on the defensive side of the ball, I think. We'll have to look that up. I came over that. I can't remember who it was.
5-player deal.
Yeah.
Nathan Kenny, offensive Hervey traded quarterback Jeremiah Mazzoli, linebacker Simone Lawrence.
Yeah, Simone Lawrence.
And offensive lineman Greg White.
Okay.
Yeah.
What'd they get in return?
Freeing up some salary cap room.
Okay.
They solidified Hugh Charles as the team's primary option at running back. And a pair of Canadian linebackers in Nathan Kanya and offensive lineman Carson Rockhill. So
Mazzoli and a young Simone Lawrence.
Offloading some stuff.
Yeah.
But Mazzoli was a great collegiate career with Oregon. And Dunk brings up a good point of the locker room mentorship. I mean, that would be better option.
That might be the ideal fit.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody at that stage of career will be like, oh, man, we got to go to Mazzoli. However, if Trey Ford hurts or sucks for half a season, Mazzoli's still got some
He's
game
been
left.
good in spot duty.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, that would make a lot of sense. He mentioned J.C. Sherritt again as defensive coordinator for the Double E. Said he's interviewed in Ottawa. He's interviewed in Calgary, but has not accepted a job in either of those markets just yet.
Yeah, and if Shivers is still getting paid, maybe the CFL is just a stopgap till next season or something.
We'll have to see on that front. All right, so there you go. There's the latest as far as coordinators that could possibly come with Mark Kilam, who was introduced as the head coach of your Edmonton Elks yesterday. If you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us. We've passed 200. Still, just past the halfway mark of the show. We're feeling a 300 day. So hammer the thumbs up.
Feel it's going to rain today.
Changing 200. If you're watching on YouTube and you missed what happened at 6:30 and you haven't given us a like yet, just scroll back to 6:30, watch that little part of the show, and then give us a like.
Do yourself
You'll definitely
a favor.
want to give you a like. It'll get you, take your day a little bit higher. Let's just, you get it? I mean, this guy gets it. All right, if you are listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, you can text us in the Paris Jewelers inbox at 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Let's get into weekly confessions, boys. What do we got for confessions? Confessions are brought to you by Spectrum Rental.
They're in.
Now that we're inside December, they can confidently confess one more leg day until Christmas. Get all of your construction heat at Spectrum Rental and stay warm throughout the winter. Just one leg day in Christmas. That's a workout thing, right? Or as Hernan and Tommy call them, activations. My goodness.
Those gym boys, hey?
The gym boys.
The gym boys.
We're sitting there yesterday watching the
headbands and everything.
Watching the availability of Kilam at like 11:30 or whatever. And Hernan leans over. Hernan looked like he was going to fall asleep. He leans over to Tommy. He goes,
"You're crying.
Might have to mix in an activation today."
Oh.
I almost slapped him upside the head. Just say you're going to the gym, Nanso. That's one of my confessions. I hate when those guys say activation.
Maybe you table it tomorrow's meeting. We outlaw that word around the office.
You know what?
Or something.
Yeah, staff meeting tomorrow. Staff meeting tomorrow.
Banishing the word from the...
Big agenda, boys. We might have our first ever 2-pager.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we didn't meet in November because of old Sicky here.
Yeah.
So busy meeting tomorrow. To get some of those festive family packs from Popeyes for the boys.
think, yeah. It
a nice little lunch
requires
treat
a snack, hey?
for the holiday season.
For sure. For sure.
All right, weekly confessions for Spectrum Rental. Rick, what are you confessing?
My wife purchased a bunch of meat from our Jess, her son Sheldon.
Oh, yes, the
doing
pepperoni.
a hockey drive, you know. My wife bought it all, and I ate it all.
You ate it all already?
All of it.
I thought you just dropped it off.
Yeah. I had an entire pack of pepperoni last week here. I gave Trev a piece.
Here at the station?
Yeah. And then I brought a pack of pepperoni home and a pack of beef jerky, and I ate that all. My wife paid for it all. She didn't
have any?
Didn't get a snip, didn't get a snap. So
what?
That's what I confess.
So what's her reaction to this?
I don't even think she knows yet.
Surprise!
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel kind of bad, but not really. It's delicious stuff.
It must be delicious.
Right, Trev? This is jalapeno cheddar?
That jalapeno cheddar was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. I really appreciate that.
What are you confessing this week, Trev?
Boys.
Uh-oh.
I might have a slight addiction.
Uh-oh. What could that be? Give me one guess on the air right now. Just let me.
No, I got this one.
Okay.
I've been playing a lot of video games. Too many
Have
video
you?
games. Lots of video games.
Move over a bit so you're on camera there. There we go.
Yes, there we go. Yeah, I've been playing a lot of video games.
How many video games you play yesterday? What's your hours?
Probably 3 to 4 hours.
Oh my God.
Which was not good.
Yeah,
so I confess.
Fortnite?
Yes.
Just Fortnite.
Just Fortnite.
4 hours of Fortnite yesterday.
I know, it's not good.
More like Fours night.
Fours night, yeah,
Because of the
absolutely.
hours.
And if it's not Donairs, it's video games right now, it seems to be. So
Have you had a donaire while playing video games recently?
No.
That's
just
living.
a greasy
That's
Do it.
controller.
Just do it.
Just complaining. Yeah, no, I have not done that. Maybe I'll do that. But yeah, I just played a lot of video games during the weekend as well. Played some video games yesterday and the day before. So it's just been a lot of video games are consuming my life right now. I don't know what to do.
Just run with it, buddy. It's a phase.
It,
You know, you go
I
through
will say
phases.
that it is a phase because before this I kind of like wasn't on.
You've been
any
off of
vids.
it for a while, yeah.
And so, but it's a bad phase. I haven't been on a phase like this in quite a while.
You're back. Like, oh man,
Yeah.
he's back.
So-
Is it disrupting other elements of your life?
Potentially, maybe, maybe.
Okay, so I'll tie this. So I have two confessions, I guess.
Any fantasy?
I did have Jerry Jeudy on a bench in the league this
But
week,
you don't need
but
him.
I still won, so it was okay. I have 6 guys on bye this week in the Spite League, but because it's a 16-team league, I actually have a bye this week, so I don't even have to dress a roster. Like, my team doesn't play this week. They all get rest. It's really nice. I'm taking them all to Cabo, actually. I'm meeting Jaden Daniels, and we're going down south.
Smoke big cigars.
Should be fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be the only fantasy. Well, actually, in the Wandering Cone Football League, I did accidentally forget to switch my kicker this week. He was on the IR, and I lost that league. But I lost by like 14 points, so I would have needed a kicker to have a pretty good week. So that was a bit of a mistake as well. The other, as far as a video game confession goes, remember I told you guys, I think it was last week, I was like, I think I'm not a video game guy anymore.
Yeah.
So things have slowed down a bit, obviously, without having to prep for CFL all week and do meetings for CFL and be gone on the weekends for CFL. And last night the kids were in bed kind of early, and I got like show prep done relatively early, and it was like 9:30, and I was like, man, I guess I could just go to bed. And I was like, well, I mean, because usually Tam didn't. She was busy. She didn't want to watch a show or anything. So I sat there and I was like, and I have like Xbox gift certificates, like, you know, for like to buy games. And stuff.
boy.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't do it, but I almost got that NCAA football game.
Ooh.
There's been a lot of NCAA buzz, you know, heading into the playoffs and stuff. I was this close to getting it last night. I even got the gift certificate out. I sat down. I was like, Don't do it, man.
Did you play them in the past? The older ones?
When I first moved to Fort Mac, I had like NCAA 05, and I loved it.
And did you start like a career,
You
like
did
a player?
recruit.
From
I
the-
recruited, and like I wasn't doing.
You
a
should
player.
start yourself from the high school, and then
That's
you go
fun.
forward.
God, so you're playing high school games?
Well, you can, and then you get you
Recruited.
commit or whatever.
Yeah.
But you can also play some of those games all mascot teams or whatever. So you can have all Brutus
I was
Buckeyes running
I
around
was
the
this
field.
close to purchasing the college football
Get
game
it,
last
do
night.
it, please. Conference championships, let's go.
Join me,
I can't.
and we'll play video games.
Do you have the college football game? You don't?
No.
Maybe we could try to recruit each other.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, we can play together.
Here's my other confession. I have screwed up outdoor rink here so far, as in I haven't done it yet.
Time's not on your side.
Well, but this is the problem.
You had the perfect week.
So when I was sick, I knew the cold was coming, and I was like, I got to get the rink in so that when it's cold, I can just hammer it.
Weren't you going to get
And it
Tammy
would
to
have
do?
been 2 weeks of flooding. And the boards are sitting there like they're stacked right next to where the rink would go.
Tammy!
And I'm sitting there, and now it's warm now. So I could easily shovel off where the snow is in the backyard, get the boards in. But I can't flood now. I can't flood for the next week. So I missed the flooding window. Because if I would have flooded for the 2 weeks when it was like minus 20, the kids could be skating right now with the great weather. So now Tammy's looking at me. She goes, "You're not even doing it this year." Like she thinks I'm just going to not do it at all. So now I'm going to probably build the rink in the backyard because there's no way I'm going to let her be right on that. But I missed the window. The kids aren't probably going to be skating on it till after Christmas. But I'm thinking we'll probably have probably cold into March, so maybe we still get 5-6 weeks out of it. But I missed the good window because I was sick.
Yeah, that sucks.
I couldn't get the boards down, and then I wasn't going to go out when it was minus 25 and try to get the boards
You
up.
had a healthy wife, though.
Yeah, she didn't do it.
I know, but I'm just saying you could have.
I even drew it out on paper for her. I said, "This is where they go. This is how you slot it
Simple.
in. Here you go. I'm going back down to the basement."
She wasn't doing anything else while you were sick, right?
No.
I mean,
the kids pretty much look after themselves at this point.
Exactly.
So anyway, that's my confession is that the Nielson family rink is hanging in the balance right now. What say you?
What's over under that you get it done?
Well, the kids only used it like 10 times last year.
Yeah.
And we used to use it a ton when it was like COVID and they weren't getting to hockey practice and stuff.
Right.
Last year we used it 10 times, but I will say when we were out there, it was awesome. Right? Like
It's nice.
You know, I'm an emotional family guy. Like,
Sure.
I would like to.
But you'll be also in Cranbrook for a couple weeks now.
We're
so
going to
who
be in
cares,
Cranbrook
right?
from
Like,
the 21st to like the 3rd.
Yes. Then it's
So
spring.
there's 2 weeks off.
That's tough.
I have a tough decision to.
Maybe
to
you just
make here.
wait for next year, Dusty.
I can't. I think once it's not done for a year, it'll never come back.
Yeah.
And I'm not ready. to
Loser's
part with-
mentality.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm not
you
ready.
gotta
I
kinda-
want to have the good. You're tearing down the boards. You know it's the last time, and I'm bawling.
There will be a
Like, I'm
week.
just
There will be a
bawling.
week or two in January where it's minus bazillion.
I know,
right? Like you're
And
gonna.
that's Flood City.
Yeah.
And then I don't care if we only skate on it one time. I still feel like I have to deliver it as a father for my children.
If you get the bones up,
then you can say you did it.
What do you think I should do here? 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Or hit us up in the nasty chat.
Sickler. I'm chasing the rink also. Too many fake out-of-town meetings.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like my one buddy Beecroft, the other day, I almost wanted to drive out to Sherwood Park and punch him in the face. He posted a video on Facebook of his kids in the backyard on the rink. He goes,
that's nice.
Year 2 of the rink. I thought, you son of like he managed to hit the good window. I didn't. And now I'm going to be screwed. Like, do we have a long-term forecast? Clausen, are you listening? Is it going to get cold before December 20th? Like, am I going to have a flood zone here before I have to go back to Cranbrook?
Rob from LA says once it's gone forever.
That's
there
the thing.
You go.
And I want to have the sad taking down of the rink for the last time with the kids. Splash around a bit. Have a good time.
Splash around a bit.
Yeah, like
yeah.
I'm legitimately sad about this. Kyle the Bomber says, guys, tiny floods at night, you could probably pull it off. What are we looking for at nighttime? But I worry about the day. You're right. Very small floods. I could possibly pull it off. Like,
I think it warmed up overnight last night.
-6.
Yeah.
Like by the weekend, maybe -6. but it's getting up to 0 on Wednesday next week. Can somebody mix in a minus 19 night here for me? Like,
Miss the window.
is it? Am I completely ridiculous to think don't start flooding till after Christmas?
Sure.
That
set up
seems
the
delusional.
bones. Set up the bones. Have them sitting there and just wait.
Well,
you'll get your temperatures.
It's time. Like I'll be yelling at Tam. Everybody get out. Let's get the liner in.
You
It's flood
monitor
time.
that forecast like a hawk, and
I think I have to do it because
Bronco Nick says get your ass in gear.
Hey, let's calm down. We don't need to say ass. Well, but this week I can easily shovel down where the rink would be, pat down some snow, get a base, and then get the boards up. But then when am I flooding?
T-Mac, the rugby guy, says download Backyard Rink Simulator for Xbox. That might get you going.
Last year it sucked because there were so many leaves in the tree still. They were falling like the entire winter. This year, all those leaves are gone. Like I'm on a leaf-free flood zone.
Great condition.
And now it's not cold enough.
If it's not one thing, it's the other. Hey, the backyard in the ODR game.
The
hey?
life of a backyard
life
rink
of attendant.
Remember the year that I was like tarping it in March to try to stretch it out to Marshall's birthday.
Oh, yeah. And you took her to the limit. Hey,
those are the good times. Those were the good times.
They don't have to leave.
I know. I want those.
They could be back.
I want Trev to come over and show me his stuff on the ODR, right? He's got sick ODR mitts, this guy. All right, your confession, 780-218-9999. We had some confessions that rolled in a little bit earlier on. Sorry, I got, look at this one. This is great. From Martin. He says, guys, as a fellow emotional dad, you have to build the rink, Dusty. I agree. And even if it doesn't work, the kids will always remember that I was out there half drowning in a lake in the backyard in February trying to get it to freeze.
These are the stories. These are the memories. Yeah.
That's what they're gonna want. All right, keep those confessions rolling in. Here we go. This is a good one. Guys, Reed Wilkins will hate this one. My weekly confession, it's crazy. I've won the last 2 weeks in fantasy to hang on to first place. If I reworked my roster to dress Harris and Smith and bench Brown and Kittle, I'd have 202 points this week. Like a win is a win. And it's a good problem to have. But I left 46.2 points in Najee Harris and Jonnu Smith on my bench this week. And 47.3 points last week with Jonnu Smith again and Keenan Allen. Lucked out both weeks to go to 10-3. Thanks, Lucky Paul.
This is Reed's favorite segment
That's
of
exactly
your show.
what Reed Wilkins hates.
He loves confessions.
That's
Fantasy
really
confessions.
nice.
Yeah.
Dolphin Nation is in and says, guys, confession. I've been off work for 2 days being sick, but I'm not sick. And my kids have been catering to me. My son made me a donair last night. Wow. Gold medal Mark is in and says, guys, I love the show. So it's hard to confess that I'm getting burnt out on CFL talk. The other shows could be a part of that too. Still love the show.
Yeah, he confessed that the off-season show is not for him. It's good confession.
Bones is in and says, guys, I'm 20 IQ points smarter after listening to Button and Dunk today. Yeah, they're great, aren't they? They're terrific.
Well, your IQ is going to go through the roof at around 8:30 this morning.
Joaquin Gage still to come. All right, on the way in hour number 3, we got lots to get to. By the way, Spectrum Rental. Heat your construction projects with Spectrum Rental all winter. And
they help you with the ODR.
Actually, for the crew over at Spectrum Rental, can I get
cool it down
8 refrigeration units dropped off to my backyard? That'd be great.
That's
Thanks.
the play.
We've got kind of easy trivia. 3 questions too many. That hurts for James H. Brown. Gager's going to pop by. We'll set up the Oilers and Golden Knights. The GCL Diesel Orange and Blue Breakfast. The Marmot Basin Ski/Snow Report. And, of course, a wrap for William Huff. Hour number 3. She's a busy one. If you're listening to the show today or you're watching over on YouTube, hammer the thumbs up for us. We are classic. We're 69 away from 300 likes. Hammer the thumbs up for us. That would be great. All right, if you'd like to play kind of easy trivia right now, fire us a text, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. We've got a gift card to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual. If you would like to win that, we might be hitting up Mr. Mike's at the mall tonight.
Oh, sit up top.
We're going
level.
We're going to see Santa tonight.
Oh boy!
And then we usually go for dinner after seeing Santa. The kids will be in their Santa clothes and everything. Real fancy dinner tonight.
You got to get up top.
Oh, I love up
second
top.
level.
I love
that's
up
where
top.
it's at. That's
I always go up top at Mr. Mike's at the mall and I look down over everybody else and say, "How are you doing down there, peasants?"
Yeah.
And then I throw French fries at them. All right. If you want to play kind of easy trivia today, 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. I was joking about the French fries. I'd never waste a Mr. Mike's French fry because they're absolutely delicious. There's never enough of them. They're just so yummy. All right. If you want to play kind of easy trivia, 780-218-9999. If you're looking for work, you want to make some cash quick, Clayburn Services right now, www.clayburnservices.com. Eric's got more on that after the update.
The National Football League suspending Texans linebacker Azeez Al-Shaair 3 games for the hit that he delivered Sunday to Jags quarterback Trevor Lawrence. Week 13 wrapped up last night. The Broncos winning a wild one, 41-32, keeping pace in the AFC wildcard race. Week 14 will kick off Thursday from Detroit with the Packers visiting the Lions. Oilers in Vegas tonight to battle the Golden Knights as Edmonton look to make it 4 straight wins. Tom Gazzola will have your GCL Diesel pre- and post-game shows live from Boston Pizza Westgate. Coverage begins at 7 here on EST. It's one of 10 games around the NHL tonight. Just 3 last night. It was the Leafs over the Blackhawks 4-1. Devils dumping the Rangers 5-1. New York have lost 6 of 7. And Dallas have now won 3 straight following a 2-1 victory over Utah. In the NBA Cup group stage actual wrap-up tonight, 11 games on a packed schedule, including the Raptors at home to the Pacers. Last night, regular season play, Bulls top the Nets 128-102. Celtics back in the win column, 108-89 over Miami. And the Lakers fall 109-80 to the Timberwolves. LeBron James just 4 of 16 shooting for 10 points. Take your career to the next level with Clayburn Services. They are hiring all positions, including journeyman bricklayers and apprentices of all levels. Take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program and work with peace of mind, knowing they are an industry leader in safety. For more, you can check out www.clayburnservices.com or give Jeff a call, 780-910-6728.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in on TuneIn, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. Just Tuffy and Eric and all of the bad cats like Brzezinski and Noodles. Gadget can gauge it. If it's this fun, but a cool bet to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday mandate. Shaggy's always on time. Tommy's always late.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number 1 in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We want to hear some hot and we want to hear Renee. Why not hold the neck up when I want our kids away? Beat left to tie a fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about the games? Macarona, Rapaport, Gregor, Engineer. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. But then my cousin and the tales of the north. All about them give a present, Dusty go on. What say you? AM Nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
Yes, there is nothing you can do about it. No amount of medicine will make you feel better than the AM Nasty flu. Thank you very much for being here today.
Yes.
Yeah. Trying to say yup over there.
Yeah.
All right, you can text us anytime. Paris Jewelers inbox. Looking for some holiday shopping? Why not do it at Paris Jewelers? www.parisjewelers.com. Huge selection of in-stock gifts ready right there for the taking. I'm sure there'll be a visit from myself here at some point to Paris Jewelers. Spoiler alert to Tammy's Christmas present, but probably coming down the pipe. Nielsen Show is presented to you by South Fort Chevrolet. And, of course, back to the inbox. One of your text messages, one text of the day today for A&W, where the mushroom mozzarella burger is back. Edmonton Wild on Twitter says, Dusty, epic fail on the ODR. So many people on the AM Nasty crew would have volunteered to put that rink up while you were sick. I could never do that.
Oh, you have a team.
No. Like I want to do the rink myself. That's my favorite part about it, building it and flooding it. Like I love it. I don't want somebody else to do that for me unless it's Tam.
Well, it's somebody from the household.
She won't.
Right? Yeah. It's got to be somebody.
I mean, how old does Marshall have to be to put up a few boards, right?
Well, he's a man.
Bronco Nick says it's going to be -5 by 6 p.m. tonight. Get the boards up.
Yeah.
Maybe I
Get the skeleton
start
up.
putting the boards
You
up.
skeleton up, and then you
Once
can
the
fill in
skeleton's up, you can
whenever
go
you
whenever.
can fill in whenever, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, fair enough.
You're ready to roll. And then it gives you a little bit of accomplishment. Like you've already done one thing, so you're like, you're feeling okay.
Feel good
if you can't get the flood down, then well, you tried.
It's gonna suck if I see a -10 night in the forecast, and I'm sitting there being like, I should have got the frame up. Even with the frame up, we can go out and just play like ball hockey in there.
You could do
until it's time to
pickleball in
flood.
there or something. Yeah.
All right, coming up here in hour number 3, kind of easy trivia. 3 questions too many. That hurts for James H. Brown, heavy hitters of injury law. Gager's going to be by just after 8:30 today. GCL Diesel Orange and Blue Breakfast, the Marmot Basin Snow Report, and the wrap for William Huff. So, yeah, she's kind of jam-packed. Let's get rolling. Who's playing kind of easy trivia today, Trev? Who do we got, buddy?
We've got Michael on the line.
All right, Michael is going to play today. Needs to get 3 out of 5 correct. We are 46 likes away from changing 300. This is child's play, so hammer the thumbs up for us over there. Sub to the channel if you haven't already.
Still got some of those artichoke hearts in the fridge here.
What do we? Oh, I thought you were. Don't we have? Do we got sandwiches kicking around still?
It might be a few.
Maybe for tomorrow. Hey, because we're
the
doing
boys.
that skit tomorrow for the boys. We'll definitely do that. Kind of easy trivia brought to you by Mr. Mike's. They got the festivities underway with Fiesta Fusion. Celebrate flavors like the new Mexican and Spanish and fire features, the Patatas Bravas, the Fusion Feast Platter, chili lime ribeye, feature drinks, plus $1 from every entree sold from that Fiesta Fusion menu will help nourish a hungry child through a local breakfast program. They're good people at Mr. Mike's. Eat locally, enjoy casually. Let's go to Michael. Michael, you ready to play?
Let's go, guys.
Let's go. Let's do it. Trev, you will start the ticker after read the first question. You need 3 of 5. Michael, good luck, man. Here we go. Let's do it. Which CFL team hired Mark Kilam yesterday?
The Edmonton Elks.
Kilam has spent the last 20 years working for which team?
The Calgary Stampeders.
Which team won the NFL Monday Nighter?
Denver Broncos.
What position does Jameis Winston play?
Quarterback.
Who do the Oilers play tonight?
The Vegas Golden Knights.
Let's go! No! God. Damn it, Shake, stop it!
They are going to remember that AM radio is a viable and modern source for news and entertainment. Totally. People don't listen to AM like they used to. Seems like it's more about FM and color TV. That's stupid. It sure is, Kevin.
I'm stoked. You stoked?
I'm stoked.
Just so stoked.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
Cannot come to my house. No, not today.
Are we sure that wasn't Mark Kilam?
He's so fired up.
Yeah, you started crying. He was fired up.
Yeah,
and it's
it's very emotional. Kind of easy trivia there today. 780-218-9999. Get in on the fun. Hammer the thumbs up for us if you're watching over on YouTube today. That would be great. WC says, guys, Stauffer as a guest on the show would be deadly. Look, man. We've invited, but we've
been there, done that.
We've invited Stauf for a weekly guest spot on our show. He says he would like to do it, but the Oilers don't necessarily want to allow him to be on our show weekly.
He did hang out with us in Vegas that one time.
He did pop by quickly, and he gets excited.
It was he loved it.
He sits down.
He loved the format.
Yeah. He would like to be here, but he's not allowed for now. We'll keep working on those people. We'll see what we can do. All right, let's get into 3 questions too many today for the great staff over at Park Mazda. Lieutenant Eric, do you have a liner for the segment?
I do. 3 questions too many brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda, where they are intently still watching the Juan Soto story. Park Mazda, dealer for life.
Question number 3. Let's skip ahead. Well, we'll get to it. Do you have a Twitter account?
Money talks, hey?
Money talks,
but maybe not so much sometimes. I have a Twitter account. You can also follow Edmonton Sports Talk at YEG Sports Talk on Twitter and on Instagram, Edmonton Sports Talk, and give the Facebook page a like as well, Edmonton Sports Talk.
All right, we'll go question 3, number 1, because you just brought it up. Did you guys see the report about the Jays having the best financial offer for Juan Soto? And what would you guys actually need to see to start taking this seriously?
But I heard it's not all about the money when it comes to him.
Of course not. It's about not playing for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yes, that's what it's like with everybody.
Come on, man. We can't go through this again. Remember Ohtani Jet Day?
Oh, I do.
How could we deal with what we went through on Ohtani Jet Day and even remotely think that the Blue Jays are going to get Juan Soto?
Give me the Soto Jet.
Tell me why he's coming to Toronto. Why is he going to go to Toronto? Why is he going to become a member of the Blue Jays when you can get close to the same amount of money somewhere else in the United States on better teams? Like, I just don't know. How much more money do you think Toronto will have to offer than the next closest competitor?
Is there an amount? Is there an amount?
Well, I mean,
if some of these guys,
a difference of $50 million, even if you're getting $600 million,
if this was a betting war, but if it was between like the Diamondbacks and the, I mean, who are the lesser thans? But when you got the Red Sox in the conversation and New York as I don't know if there's an amount. Really, when you factor in those locales and those organizations.
If the Blue Jays actually get Juan Soto, I will eat blank. What would you put in that? What would you put in that spot? First of all, I'd be fired up because they get him, so I'd be excited. So I'd probably do it.
Anything.
Second of all, it'd be great for likes. Like people will be like, "Oh my God, Dusty's going to try. Yeah. He's going to try a plum today," or something. Like,
we'll both eat a plum. I'm not a big fan either.
Have you had plums? I've had a plum before. The whole texture of the plum. I'm not a fan of it. Not a fan of it.
It's like an eye.
I prefer the peach to the plum.
If Juan Soto is a Blue Jay, we both eat a plum. Whole thing. Core and everything.
A commitment among friends. The core. You probably can't do that. I don't know what's inside a plum.
The seeds, the whole bit. Yeah. No, I'll go down on a plum with you.
Somebody's suggesting artichoke hearts. I'm not doing that ever again. I don't care about the bit. I'm not doing it. It's just not happening. I don't even know. Even if they were to announce it, I don't know if I'd believe it. I could see the Blue Jays announcing it and then Soto being like, "Surprise!
Well,
I'm staying. I'm going to be a Met."
I know Ohtani Jet was all fun and all this, but the Soto stuff on Twitter or X. I mean, you got his wife looking at condos here, and then this report Boston.
Oh, Boston. Boston now.
But there's a lot of false, like this one's, if you're handing out an award for like a story that's getting the most false reporting and misleading, this is the one. This takes the cake, baby. Like we've never been in these waters before.
This would be tracked like if Stoff was going to leave the Oilers and shed, and they're like, "Man, where's Stoff going to take his show to?" And he would be like, "Stoff Jet.
Martin says 2 guys, 1 plum. We both eat it together.
We share it
one
together.
Plum and Lady
no
the
hands.
Boy, that'd be a juicy.
Yeah, you know what? I will say this.
Yeah.
If the Blue Jays sign Juan Soto, Eric and I will share a plum without using our hands.
You got it.
There we go.
That's
Done.
how confident we are. It's not going to happen.
Lock that in. We are very confident with that. I'm going pinky square me.
I'll shake your hand. Oh, I want to shake your.
Okay, done. All right. Question number 2, guys. Who do you think has been the best hire so far, Morris, Hervey, or Kilam?
I think it'd be Morris.
Think so?
Because then he goes down he does the high, he's the one. I know it's probably a
big
bit
fan
of
of Chris. So I back that, but
I think it starts at the top. And when Will was in for you, he made the good example too of what's going on with the Riders right now. And you had a guy like Jim Hobson who got it, and that just cascaded down.
Yeah,
it fed down from the boardroom all the way down to the locker room. And I think it starts at the top. So I'll go with C Murder.
I think I'll say Hervey, because I think whoever would have been president would have hired Ed anyway.
Fair enough. It's. I think it's between the two because you don't know what Kilam is like.
We don't know what Kilam is yet.
Jury's out.
I'm going to say Herv. When they left, when Herv got fired last time he was here, that was kind of the moment. Like it was the beginning of everything that we've had to deal with since then. So I would say Hervey's been the best of the 3 hirings so far. Question number 3. This is a fun one. Play along with us. Which Oiler do you think would be most likely to be stuck on the roof of a hotel in Vegas after a night out with the boys?
Well, I think somebody texted in. Is that where Arvidsson is right now?
Interesting.
We haven't been able to find it because he's been stuck on the roof of a hotel. A la The Hangover. Outside of that.
I mean, Arvidsson is the easy answer to this question right now. But if you do have an opinion on it, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. People are referring to Soto Watch now as #PlumWatch24. I think we could pull it off. We could eat a plum without our hands together.
Yeah.
We share a plum without our hands.
You better damn well like it.
Pender's Pancake says, yes, Plum Watch is fully on.
Plum Jet.
Plum Jet. The Plum Jet. Let's see if that could happen. Chad Jenkins says, Pod Colson. Trev, who do you think would be most likely to get stuck on the roof of a hotel?
Evan Bouchard. He's lost on and off the ice.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
What, are you trying to win text of the day today?
Yeah, maybe.
God, I don't think so. I think Bouchard would go to bed at like 6:30.
Be like, where am I?
Like,
well,
enjoy your evening.
Keep it down up there.
Yeah.
Where is everyone?
Yeah, he's going to go have a coffee, play some slots, and go to bed.
Yeah, coffee. A coffee in the slots. That's, yeah.
That's probably
absolutely
Vander Kane,
the best way to go about it. Man, if they can get whenever Evander Kane comes back, somebody. So I think it was it on the oil stream yesterday? I think it was Pender's Pancakes. Pender, I know you're over there. Give me those lines again that you gave me yesterday. It was when Kane is healthy. He had Kane, McDavid, Hyman, I think, Draisaitl with Podkolzin and Arvidsson, Skinner with Nuge and Kapanen / Perry, and then Janmark, Henrique, and Brown, that line from last year. What do you think about that line up there, Trev? When Kane returns, Kane, McDavid, Hyman, Draisaitl, Podkolzin, Arvidsson, Nuge centering the third line between Skinner and one of Perry / Kapanen, and then Henrique, Janmark, and Brown on your fourth line.
That's a very deep team right there, Dusty.
That's a pretty deep
I
roster
like it.
right there.
That's one thing I would like to see. Evander Kane, I can't remember if he got any time on the first line last year. So I would like to see him be back.
I think he got a little
bit, but it was nothing crazy.
Nothing sustained, nothing consistent, I don't think, if I remember correctly.
And when he first joined the team, his numbers were up. He was looking really good, and he was playing with Connor McDavid. So I'd like to see them give that another look for sure.
That text from Juan here. It won't be Skinner on the hotel roof. He'll be diving in the pool.
Oh! Is Juan coming in for text of the day? Whew. Holy smokes. That was funny yesterday. I'm sorry. I couldn't help but laugh. We had a good laugh with that on the oil stream. And we were driving with the haircut thing last night. I think we were coming home. Man, driving down Stony Plain Road at 4:30 in the afternoon. I don't know how people do it every single day. Like, it was backed up all the way down to like the Burger King, like all the way up to the Henday.
Rush hour.
I went in right lane and it was moving pretty good, and then I weaseled my way in up.
There are ways.
On.
Well, yeah, you got to merge.
But
you got to merge.
Still, I don't know how people deal with that all the time. I just couldn't do it. I could not be person who has to drive in rush hour both ways to work. I would quit and find a different job. I can't do it. Anyway, Marshall and I were listening to Reed and Jay, and they were talking about the Skinner thing, and then they played the video of it. Marshall's like, we were listening on iHeart in the truck, and Marshall's like, Daddy, bring it up on YouTube. I have to see this. So he watched it. It really wasn't much there. I mean, but it's mostly just to embarrass the player to try to get them to stop diving. $2,000 means absolutely nothing to Skinner. Like nothing at all.
No. And they don't dive in hockey.
Classic soccer guys.
Well, they don't. It's a man's sport. That's
why there's no diving in
Real
hockey.
men.
Yeah.
No diving.
No, but
diving.
I thought
honest game.
I was kind of amused by it. So anyway, funny text on Skinner there, Juan. Well done. Could be text of the day for A&W, where the mushroom mozzarella burger is finally back. Limited time only. Buddy, Mama, Big Hunk, $4.99.
And the game day special.
Starts at $4.99. And the game day special, Eric's right. The fantastic deal for the game day special. Mama Burger and fries, $5 because the Oilers are playing tonight, which is a nice little twist there as well. All right, let's get into that Hurts for James H. Brown. Got another area I'd like to discuss for that Hurts today.
Oh,
we'll get
Soto
back.
signed with the Jays. No.
Let's get us a plum.
That would have hurt.
Wouldn't that be something? It's 780-218-9999. If you've got anything else that hurts, you can share it with us via text. Hit us up in the nasty chat. Hammer the thumbs up there. Back to the Oilers and Golden Knights with Gager He's in early. He's locked and loaded already. Yeah, we'll get to Gager as quickly as we can here. But let's get to that hurts for James H. Brown, the heavy hitters of injury law. If you've been injured in an accident, go to jameshbrown.com. They've got a bunch of great Christmas initiatives over at James H. Brown. One of the things they're doing is they're going to take 100 kids, and they're each going to get $200 to spend on Christmas presents, and they get to go shopping with members of the Edmonton Elks and the alumni, which is a cool idea from Trent and his crew over at James H. Brown. We're going to actually have Aaron Grimes on the show on Thursday to discuss that. So that's good. All right. Here's what hurts. We haven't looked at this thing. A lot of talk today about, obviously, the hiring of Mark Kilam, as it should be. He is coaching the Edmonton Elks now. It's kind of a big deal. But what hurts, what has to hurt, I'm assuming it hurts, Calgary Stampeders fans watching all this go down. You've had Mark Kilam as an assistant coach since 2019, special teams coordinator, but he's been in the organization since before 2010.
Almost as long as that little athletic therapist guy that runs around with the water bottles. What's his name?
Oh,
like they've been there as long as you can remember.
I can't remember.
You know
the
what
name.
I'm saying? You know the guy. Yeah.
I know his nickname. I can't remember. I know who you're talking about. Anyway, Kilam's been there since he was like 22, 23 years old.
Yeah.
Now he's 43. You've developed this guy along the way.
He's a man. He was a boy. Now he's a man.
He's been on the head coach radar for probably about somewhere between 3 and 5 years around the league. Your organization was a train wreck this year. You decide to fire all of your staff, including Kilam. Keep your head coach, who you might have already got the best from along the way. And now your provincial rival takes the guy that your organization developed to become a head coach, and they get him at a time where he could possibly and maybe should have been your head coach. That has to hurt the Calgary Stampeders, does it not?
Which, from an Edmonton point of view, you almost want to pass over McSimic to steal Bo Baldwin as well, just to add to the pain, right? Like, Monson going to Toronto and all that, and the fire, and it's now it's Dickie Land. I mean, it's Dave and Craig there, and Huffnagel kind of still overseeing things from his perch. And I think the big hurt was after the Argonauts captured the Grey Cup and all that stuff was said. I mean, that's when the wash was really hanging on the line.
Yeah.
That you could really, but okay, geez, they're saying, and the no hot meals thing and all that. I mean, yeah, it's just piling on. And to an organization.
But you brought in VA, so I can see why the fan base would kind of be happy, but.
And he didn't really have any. I mean, they brought him in, they had to, and that's fine. And he might also attract some free agents. You know, can I get a Geno Lewis? Maybe a rekindling of that prior relationship, perhaps.
I could see that. I could see a world where Geno is down there. If they can afford both Geno and Reggie,
sure.
That's an amazing 1-2 punch for VA.
And that would kind of bring you back to some sort of, but I mean, again, team sport and everything. And this is we've heard throughout the years so many times that they've had young up-and-comers and they just haven't paid them the money or whatever the case is. So the stadium's in shambles, right? The finances, no hot meals. Letting go of coaches, that sort of thing. And an organization that used to be, I mean, I hated them so much growing up because they were always so damn good.
Yeah.
And they seemed like they were Teflon. I mean, nothing was going to knock them down. And here they are. So, yeah, it hurts on a variety of fronts. Mark Kilam, the latest kind of bullet in that.
George Hopkins is who you're talking about. 50 years.
That's the one. Yeah. Maybe he'll be head coach.
Well, as long as he doesn't do the jerseys that I can't read the numbers on, I don't care. Pissed me off a couple times this year with this league has to stop putting dark numbers on dark jerseys. I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to go crazy at one of the press boxes. It's almost got this Boston Bruins sort of vibe to it, where Calgary keeps Dickey and fires Kilam and Munson, and they are scooped up within a couple of weeks in prominent roles around the league. Yeah. One goes to the bloody Grey Cup champions, and the other is now a head coach. Yeah. Like,
after you're running back,
fan, you got to be like, wait a second, what's going on here?
You're running back and watch Jake Mayer go somewhere, right?
Jake Mayer goes to the Riders, leads them to a Grey Cup.
I'm just saying that it could be the company you keep, but yeah,
well, I definitely want a non-Calgary look at Jake Mayer.
Yes.
Like just as a CFL guy.
And maybe reuniting with a guy like Mark Mueller, who also comes from that organization, might be the ticket.
All right, what do you think? I would love it. Stampeders fans, we're wondering about you. We're not mocking you in any way. We are wondering where you're at right now. Like when you watch Mark Kilam take over your rival organization after grooming him and developing him as a coach for 20 years. Is that something that infuriates you right now? Or is the Calgary fan base still very, Dave Dickinson's the guy, he's going to put the right people in place, and the organization is going to be great again because they brought in Vernon Adams Jr.? I don't know.
William Mike Spear Pierce Drew's inbox. Hey, guys, for what it's worth, I was talking with my cousin who lives down in Calgary. He says Kilam is absolutely loved down there, and the fans are quite angry he is coming up here. And it's not like he's going to Hamilton. He's going to your provincial rival in the West here. So that hurts a lot more.
Ooh, that
hurts.
If you've been injured in an accident, go to jameshbrown.com. All right, we got an update coming up for the fine folks over at Sit and Sleep.
The snow report is in.
I know, I see it.
Yeah.
I'm all excited. I was refreshing my email all morning. I'm very excited to it. We've got a jam-packed second half here of the third hour of the show. So if you're watching on YouTube, you know what to do. Thumb up, subscribe. If you're listening on TuneIn, iHeart, send the link to EST to your friends. Gager's going to join us next. We're going to talk Oilers Golden Knights. We're going to talk some Formula One. They had Ed Hervey on yesterday. We'll get Gager's thoughts on what Ed Hervey had to say on EST afternoons. We've got the GCL Diesel Orange and Blue breakfast coming down the pipe. We've got your Marmot Basin ski report / snow report coming up. And then we got the wrap for William Huff all in the next 32 minutes. Boy, she's a busy one, isn't she? Gager on the way. Let's get to the update now.
NFL Week 13 wrapping up last night. The Broncos winning a wild one, 41-32 over the Browns. Off the field this morning, the NFL suspending Texans linebacker Azeez Al-Shaair 3 games for the hit that he delivered to Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence on Sunday. Week 14 will kick off Thursday from Detroit between the Lions and Packers. Oilers in Vegas tonight to battle the Golden Knights. Edmonton looking to make it 4 straight wins. You can join Tom Gazzola from Boston Pizza Westgate. He'll have your GCL Diesel pre- and post-game shows. Coverage begins at 7 here on EST. Oilers Knights, one of 10 games around the NHL tonight. In the NBA, Cup group stage action will wrap up later tonight with 11 games, including the Raptors at home to Indiana. Last night it was the Lakers falling to the Timberwolves 109-80. Celtics back in the win column with a 108-89 win over Miami, and Atlanta have won 4 straight following a 124-112 victory over the lowly Pelicans. Black Friday savings continue now at Sit and Sleep. Today until Sunday, all Canadian-made custom sofas, sectionals, and bedrooms are all on sale. Save up to 50% on select floor samples, 20% off home accents, and more. Plus, you can make no payment until 2026 interest-free. Also, make any purchase over a $9.99 this week and receive free local white glove delivery with full setup and installation. Don't miss the massive Black Friday furniture and mattress sales event on now at Sit and Sleep, South Edmonton Common, next to Planet Fitness.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
It is the AM Nasty. Thank you very much for being here. Nielson Show brought to you by South Ford Chevrolet. Drive a little, save a lot. South Ford Chev. Visit their website, www.southfordchev.com. GCL Diesel, Orange and Blue breakfast on the way in about 10 minutes, and we'll have your Marmot Basin snow report. Let you know what's happening up at the hill.
The POW.
In Jasper with the fresh POW, yeah. And then the wrap for William Huff. So we got lots to get to. Gager's going to join us right now. He'll be in today, EST afternoons. 2 guys and a goalie. We're going to build Team Canada on 2 guys and a goalie today. Gager's brought to you by Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned sports memorabilia and apparel specialists. They're putting extra time on the clock and staying open until 7 p.m. on Thursdays in November and December. Located at Edmonton at the corner of St. Albert Trail on 128th Ave or online at proamsports.ca if you need a little bit late evening shopping Thursdays at Pro-Am. All right, let's bring in Joaquin Gage this morning. Gager, as always, buddy, great to see your wonderful mug. How you doing, my man?
I'm good. I'm just here for the ski report. So let's hurry this thing up.
Yeah, you're here for the POW. You want to know what's happening up in the mountain.
Pow.
Yesterday, when we did that for the first time, people were like, EST ski trip. And I was like, you know what? I go sit in the lounge. Like I go up to the chalet.
The chalet.
I'd be a chalet boy. That'd be fun.
You're all about the après ski. I know, Dusty. You're bebopping and dancing on tables at après ski all the time. I could see that.
That's my thing. Who's this guy? Looks like he's never been out in his entire life. Well, that's Dusty from EST.
More of a border.
Does the snow report, yeah. Gager, let's start with this. You guys had Herv on the show yesterday. What was your biggest takeaway from chatting with the general manager of the Edmonton Elks?
That he made me look like a moron, first of all, because I posed a question to him and he completely shattered it out of the park with how he viewed. I made a comparison to a puzzle.
I heard the puzzle reference. I thought it was clever.
And I thought, oh, okay. I thought I was being smart, but then he goes that extra step further because my initial kind of view of it was putting together the team, but he incorporated, if you were to build my puzzle, I guess I would say it would be the team of the Elks with everyone surrounding it. But I think his vision of completing the puzzle, you would have a picture of the Grey Cup included in that puzzle as well. Like that is the finished product, not the team that's going to be here come training camp. It is his vision is way further down the line, and I'm so short-sighted that it made me feel a little bit insecure. But I loved his answer. It was perfect.
There's just a good buzz around the last month for this team, isn't there?
Yeah, man. You everything, and I'm a little hesitant because you hear guys when they get into those positions and they say all the right things, but it's just been a slow burn since the change of ownership. The driving through the Calgary Stampeders. There's just little tidbits of the tide is turning, I think, in the direction of the Edmonton Elks, and now with the proper management in place with these guys that. I mean, they could probably throw on the equipment and play. They're so emotional. Like it'll be great to see. And like anything, Dusty, you're our fearless leader, and you lead by example. We'll let that last month out of the way, but with good leadership, everyone else follows, and so. We're taking a page out of the Elks playbook or them out of ours. I don't know which way it goes.
One or the other.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see what happens when camp rolls around in that first game next year.
Yeah, like I'm very excited to see what the crowd is like.
Get a couple hot dogs,
game. Yeah. Do we know?
I might retire the dogs though. I might. I want to be part of this. I got to be in the. I got to be in the
tailgate and everything.
The Wiener Phantom of Commonwealth is no more. He's now revealed himself to the thousands in attendance.
Unmasked.
Oh my God, that's a guy. That's a guy. Gager, the Edmonton Oilers against Vegas tonight. 7-2-1 in their last 10. What has been the key to this pretty good stretch of hockey from the team right now?
I mean, Connor and Leon seem to have taken a huge step, and they're where they usually are. I think it was kind of a little bit of a slow. Not so much Leon. Leon's been pretty dynamic,
pretty consistent. Yeah.
I mean, there's some subtle things that I've noticed. The play of Darnell Nurse, Kulak's always been this good, as I've said for years now on two guys, and that partnership is so. It's amazing that I know it's a short sample size, but it's almost when I think back to CC and Nurse, and obviously that was a longer period of time, but Kulak and Nurse look really good together. That's a good fit, and I think it provides Stan Bowman with a little bit more. I mean, you still have to look for a solid defender, I think, but maybe it narrows his search a little bit because of that the way that group plays. And another thing to think about is the play of Calvin Pickard. Like he's the number 2 guy, but he not only does he provide really good goaltending, but when you're the partner and you see the other guy go in and give the team good starts and get wins. Like I think it was really important that Pickard won that first game, and just kind of it lights the fire as you sit on the bench and watch the other guy perform and get a win. You want to do that too, right? So not that there's a ton of competition. Stuart Skinner's the man, but it does internally, I think, just in the mind of a goaltender, you want to have just as good or better a performance as the guy that played the night prior if you're not in there.
Gage, what are you seeing? It like 3 of Skinner's last 4 games, he's put together pretty good outings. The Minnesota game was kind of a write-off, I think, for the entire team. I didn't think anybody really played too well that night. But what are you seeing over the last 5 starts from this guy? That is it the team in front of him playing better, or you're seeing something that Skinner's doing that's helping his numbers?
He's gotten. I think he was trying to find his game a little bit. Like, he's a positional goaltender. I look at that McKinnon one that goes off the head, right? Like, everyone says, "Oh, it's not a great," but he's there in position, right? If his head's not in the way, that thing's going in. There's a little bit more battle, I feel, with the way he's playing. Look, he's the mental toughness that Stuart Skinner has is up there with the tops in the league. Playing in a market like Edmonton with the magnifying glass on every goal that goes in on you, and for him to put everything in the rearview mirror and keep progressing the level of his game is admirable. I wish I had that type of mental toughness when I played. Like, it's a marvel to watch. And last game going into Colorado, he was fantastic. It was a really good game. Now, saying that, now you need to follow it up with another one, right? Just like a bad game, you got to put it in the rear view, take what you need from it. You have to do the same thing with a good game. It's you got to, okay, that was good, but that goes in the rear view mirror too. A huge game tonight, I think, against the Golden Knights, where I think last time when the Knights were in town here, it was a good 50 minutes, and then it kind of fell apart for the Edmonton Oilers. So a little bit of a chance for redemption for Stuart Skinner, because I know that we talked about those goals that he let in against the Knights in the last few minutes of the game to lose. He probably wants to have a much better outing.
Joaquin Gage joining us here from EST Afternoons. A few listeners and viewers alerting us that the Wiener Phantom of Commonwealth revealing himself maybe wasn't the best choice of words strung together.
My bad.
We'll leave it at that. Gage, I wanted to get you on the track because you and I were talking here. Kick Sauber, Zhao Guan Yu getting the first team points of the season. They are now 10th in the standings, sitting on a total of 4. We're heading into the Yas Marina. What can you tell us from last race and heading into the final one? Are there any sort of mathematical leapfrogs that we could see or should be expecting, or is everything pretty much done and dusted?
I mean, all eyes are on to the fight for second place, I think, between Charles and Lando, because it's quite tight. The constructors is still up for grabs. I don't think we have to worry about Kick Sauber anytime soon until next year. But the kind of the talk of the whole weekend was this rivalry that I cannot wait till end of February when Drive to Survive comes out, and this budding feud between George Russell and Max Verstappen. I guess there was George was flying off the handle with in the drivers' meetings complaining about Max, and Max got the grid penalty. And so this is the drama of F1 that we crave and see get the full kind of behind the scenes look of what goes on. So they're really setting this up, I think, for next year. And some of the battles that will probably take place, like, these cars have never been closer before. And just, I'm a psychopath. I try to find F1 stuff.
Of course.
There was something, I don't know. I've only found one person talking about this, but when they have the Red Bull drivers for next year, Valtteri Bottas's name's popping up.
What?
Hey,
come on!
Possibly as a third driver, or possibly just to take over from Checo. Lewis Hamilton said previously that Valtteri was the best partner driver that he's ever had. And maybe they're looking at having someone that, doesn't crash the car, won't cost you a bunch of money, but maybe give you some reliable drives that, if memory serves me correctly, like Bottas wasn't winning, but he was still up there and challenging for podiums when he was with Mercedes, right? So Red Bull's completely out of the constructors right now. They need to find a reliable second driver to drive with Max to get those points and hopefully bring home another constructors, because that's a huge disappointment with the way Max drove. Your partner's just nowhere close to him. Something has to change. I doubt you'll see Checo in that seat come next year.
Good stuff, Gager. Always a great chat, and we'll see you around the office in a little bit. Can't wait. There you go. That's Joaquin Gage. EST Afternoons with Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage every single day from 1 until 3. Fabulous show. Gager and Hernan click really well together. Big fan of it. Also on Two Guys in Goalie today with myself, Cass, and Gager, we will be building our consensus team Canada, and we'll see how it goes.
And does Kapanen make Finland?
I plan on name calling a little bit. No.
Is he playing his way into the conversation?
I don't think so. Oh, 300. Nice. That's good. That's very nice. That's some solid work. It is a game day, though. I mean, they do get the Golden Knights side. Everybody's excited to keep pounding them thumbs up, man. Yeah. Let's go. Game of the night. Let's get into it. It is the Orange and Blue Breakfast for GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts. Proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Proud to be a partner. We are with GCL Diesel. You know what? I would like to understand the workings of an engine. Like a diesel engine, regular engine, I don't care. Yeah. But I'd like to understand how it works. Like, mechanics to me are always very, very impressive.
You should hang out with Rob from the Grove a lot more.
Yeah, I don't know if it's. I feel like I'm a pretty smart guy. Would looking at an engine blow me away, or after somebody explained it to me, I'd be like, oh yeah, this makes a lot of sense. I totally see how this works now. I'll never know, I guess.
Give it a shot.
Can't do something like this at this stage of my life, learn about engines. It'd be tough to do.
You can build a rink.
I definitely got to do that.
Can't build an engine.
I definitely got to do that. All right. Let's get into your projected lineups for tonight's hockey game. The Edmonton Oilers, unless there's a change today, yesterday at practice in the afternoon in Vegas, they were running with the same lineup that we saw in the win over Colorado. So Zach Hyman was the extra forward yesterday at practice. McDavid between Kapanen and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Draisaitl between Brown and Podkolzin. Henrique between Matthias Janmark and Jeff Skinner. Derek Ryan with Corey Perry and Drake Caggiula. Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Stetcher, Kulak, Emberson. And, of course, Gager talked a little bit about Nurse and Kulak there. And you know what? When those guys are together, you just feel like you feel good about not getting in trouble defensively when Nurse and Kulak are, in my opinion, at least. So we'll see how the blue line sorts itself out.
Stetcher's been playing pretty good as of late as well.
They got a little point streak going too. Yeah. All right, so there you go. That's a back end Stuart Skinner to start for the Edmonton Oilers. Where's Vegas at right now? Here's a look at your Golden Knights projected roster. Jack Eichel having a hell of a season. Barbashev on one side, Dorofeyev on the other. Thomas Hertl with Keegan Colasar and Nicholas Roy. Carlson, Olofsson, and Brett Howden. And Cole Schwint with Alexander Holtz and Tanner Pearson on the back end. Schwint. Beautiful back end. McNabb, Theodore, Hannafin, Pietrangelo, Nicholas Hague, and Caden Korjak. As for lists of guys who aren't tough enough to play hockey tonight, it's the injury report brought to you by Podium Physiotherapy. Knee pain from that nagging ACL injury, hip or shoulder pain slowing you down, back pain after a long day's work. They've got you covered, whether it's a sports injury, post-op recovery, or the wear and tear of your everyday life. The expert team is here to get you back on track. Podium Physiotherapy. Unlock the athlete in you. That is a killer saying at the end there. Unlock the athlete in you.
Activate.
God,
the athlete.
Get in and activation. Who can't play tonight, Rick?
You mentioned the back end, and that's you didn't mention Zach Whitecloud as well. He is listed as day-to-day. Mark Stone, IR, Ben Hutton, IR, and Victor Olofsson also out. Game time decision, though, it says right here.
He's a game time, okay, because he was on the latest.
For the Oilers, of course, we know Zach Hyman skating, but also maybe a game time decision there. Victor Arvidsson, nowhere to be seen, and Evander Kane, we all know, on the LT IR.
What's your key to a victory tonight to complete the sweep on the 3-game roadie?
It's Vegas. It's the game of the night. It's the last game of the night. Oilers fans down there, they pay to see the Stars. I'm looking for Draisaitl and McDavid to show up big time. And I think with Mark Stone missing, that'll go a long way as well. And again, a hell of a blue line, but if Zach Whitecloud isn't playing as well, that's an extra boon to the lineup. So I know Button said you're not making excuses. I don't think nobody's feeling sorry for the Golden Knights. But yeah, it can be a reason when you got two studs out, and right now the Oilers studs are clicking.
Let's get to my game day prediction. If it's correct, please praise me on Twitter. If it isn't, forget I ever said it. We will have an EST parlay on the lock shop today, so be ready for that. You know what I'm going to go with tonight? I'm going to say one of Kapanen or Podkolzin score again. Not both of them. Let's not get greedy here. I'll say one of Podkolzin or Kapanen find the back of the net again for the Edmonton Oilers and make things very interesting in the top 6. Da 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 da.
You got options.
Yeah. It's the Orange and Blue Breakfast, brought to you by GCL Diesel, the providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. Critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton, Northern Alberta area for over 50 years. They are also the presenting sponsor of Oil. Understood on the Reed Wilkins Show. And, of course, the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pre- and post-game show. Where's Tommy Gazzola going to be tonight?
Boston Pizza, Westgate. I was just going to say that's the best. It's the best pregnant pause in the biz right now. Like that.
The Reed Wilkins pregnant pause.
Yeah,
it's fun.
So good.
It's a great bit. I'm jealous of some of the bits that Reed comes up with.
Oh, yeah.
He's a very funny man. I find him highly entertaining.
And again, it was a TV that they unwrapped yesterday. If you missed it, like I know.
Surprise. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Nobody guessed it.
We got to get an extension cord, or it's not going to work. We're running out of power outlets in the studio. Let's just say that.
Do we just keep Zach's right there as a memoriam?
Did you see Waddy and Cloverdale's thing today?
It's a great meme.
Meme. I tweeted it out. It's where is it here? It's got the kid, like the parent is Jay and Reed in the pool. Yep. The younger kid is the new TV, and they're holding it, and then the older kid is drowning off to the side, and that's Zach's TV. Poor Zach. The old TV's just sitting here. Yeah. Got to get rid of it.
Maybe we put in like we make like a smash room. We go in there with the way when
you're angry.
Yeah.
Tommy Gazzola, what's up, buddy?
Give it a little swing, yeah.
All right, let's.
No shorts.
Let's do it. Are you ready?
Can you
to find out the latest?
Higher.
Snow report. Ski report.
So stoked. Like, winter's here. I'm stoked. You stoked?
I'm stoked.
Just so stoked.
Yes.
I mean, it came down last night, what, a good 5 inches?
Last night, I think so. Something like that, and a couple feet the day before.
You've got a 5-foot base with 5 inches of freshie on top.
It's a snow report for Marmot Basin. Balmy temp, -2 this morning. Skies, a mix of sun and cloud. 10 centimeters of new snow in the past 4 days. Wow. The base at the mid-mountains, 50 centimeters, with more at higher elevations. 6 of the 7 lifts are operating, being described as good early season conditions. The family pack is back. Great deal with 2 adult tickets, 2 child tickets, 17 and under, for only $329. Available online only at skimarmot.com.
Clap your hands. Clap your hands. Clap your hands. The body rock. 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 Clap your hands. Don't stop. Clap your hands. Don't stop. Clap your hands.
I'm your Huckleberry. I'll do. I'm your Huckleberry. I'll do.
Oh, man, we're going to have way too much fun with the Marmot Basin Snow Report.
Rob from the Grove says you need the disco lights from the closet.
Well, so what I was thinking,
maybe a smoke machine too.
I was talking about with Tam yesterday about the light switch on the app now. I'm like, oh, it's very cool.
Yeah.
What I would like to do is set either that up or remember the old clapper?
Clap on.
I'd like to do when we get to
clap off.
We have like a disco light or something hanging from the roof. And then when it's time to hit it, we're like, clap your hands. And it just starts spinning like this. That would be pretty cool. All right.
Well, we'll get that TV hooked up first.
Well, we got to work on that first. Then we'll get to hanging from the roof disco lights powered by a clapper. That's on the list for 2025 for EST. All right, let's get into the wrap for William Huff. If you want your place to look as good as ours, extremely professional, WilliamHuff.com. They've been doing it since 1952. I was chatting yesterday with Victor downstairs because we're working on signs for the outside of the building.
He was
a little frustrated with the landlord. He was frustrated with the landlord right now. But I was emailing back and forth with Bruce last night, actually. I sent Bruce an email like 9:30 last night. I was like, oh, man, I hope that's not too late. He replied right away. That's how good these guys are at business. Anyway.
He'd come in and actually wrap this as a mountainscape for the ski report.
Just for the ski report.
Just for that, yeah. And then take it down again.
You know what? We need to get to a point one day when this is all video from William Huff. Like they have on the sideline at Elks. And then we can just change it throughout the show. That would be kind of cool. Once again, something we can work on in the future. But no, so I was talking to him last night about the signage on the outside of the building. I said, I'm assuming that's probably like a spring project now, hey? And he goes, no, we're just waiting on approval from the spa, and then they're coming in like the next 2 weeks. By the time we get to Christmas, boys, there will be an Edmonton Sports Talk sign on the outside of our building.
What a gift.
How great is that?
That's going to be awesome.
Oh, man.
It's going to look so cool.
You know what? It'll ease the burn of every time I drive past the old Shanks and they're turning it into an awful-looking building.
You know what we should get is a big electronic billboard outside and never have it working.
I know what you're talking about. Saw it yesterday.
Wouldn't that be an idea? Have it on, but have nothing on
But there's
there.
nothing on it.
Yeah. That'd be a great idea. Great use of funds.
Yeah, somebody should definitely do
Victor
that.
would be all over that.
Somebody should definitely do that. All right, what did we learn on the show today, boys?
Patrick Laine will return to the Habs lineup tonight.
Good.
That's courtesy Darren Dreger 10 minutes ago. So go Habs go. That's the hashtag.
You like to see that.
Yeah.
I learned today that you and I, if Juan Soto signs with the Blue Jays, Eric and I are going to co-eat a plum without using our hands.
Well, Chris G says John Morosi might be on the
what's going on? Is there something? Oh, Morosi, don't even get me
He's
started
always
on
right.
Morosi,
Yeah. No, we will not be eating a plum. That's what we learned.
We'll see.
We will not.
To be honest with you,
it's not going to happen.
I'm more intrigued if we could do it together as a challenge of guys who've worked together for a decade and a half.
Easily. We could do it with our eyes closed.
I think so.
Would that be fun?
I think so. A little plum kiss at the edge. You know?
Is there a pit in there? What's going on?
I don't know.
Can you go
can have
through
the pit.
I don't.
I'm going to spit the pit at you.
Can you go through a plum?
I don't know.
Like, is there a
Hey guys,
rocky...
is there a pit in a plum, or is it just all empty in there?
So can you like go through the center? Like, is there a core? No. There is a core. Yeah. So we wouldn't make contact.
Oh, then I think we could do this.
Yeah, absolutely. Easily.
I think we could do this.
Or we could find out the hard way.
It's a fun challenge anyway, even for the future, some other way. All right, let's get to your sound of the day today. We're gonna run this back. Hey, if you missed it at 6:30 today,
hold me now.
If you missed it at 6:30 today, we're taking this show to a whole new level. You could say we're taking it higher. Because it's Tuesday, you know?
How rude.
How good was that today?
Well, I think next Tuesday might be a little better.
Well, the only thing that could be better than this is if they were to announce a concert. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to get there yet.
Probably
but,
not.
You know, something to work on.
If they do, you and I eat a plum.
You know what?
No.
Why not? Let's do it. Come on, Rick. Let's do it.
There's more likelihood of Creed announcing a tour, a cross-Canada tour, with a stop here than Juan Soto going to the Blue Jays.
Okay, fair enough. All right, let's get to your text of the day today. Speaking of Juan Soto, was the text of the day not Juan?
You're going back?
Yeah, let's go back to Juan.
We're running it back.
Text of the day is for A&W, where the mushroom mozzarella burger is back for an LTO, limited time only. Available in 3 sizes: the Buddy, the Mama, the Uncle Burger, the Big Unk. The timeless classic, fully loaded, mouth-watering mozzarella, cremini mushrooms, grilled onions, grainy Dijon aioli. So what are you waiting for? Taste the mushroomy mozzarella goodness at your nearest A&W, starting at just $4.99. Plus, it's game day. Mama Burger and Fries, $5 because it's game day for the local hockey club. What's the text of the day?
The question was, which Oiler would be stuck on the roof of a hotel in Vegas a la The Hangover? Juan says it won't be Skinner. He'll be diving in the pool. Timely.
Classic embellishment joke.
Yeah.
Guess what, NHL? Congratulations. Your wish worked. We made fun of Skinner for diving.
Yeah.
Right, that's what they were
Doesn't
hoping
Knobloch
for.
get a fine too if it continues?
If it continues,
he gets his wages garnished.
Knobloch gets fined as well at some point.
Might have to be a word.
Stoff pays it for him, but still, I mean, that would be something. All right, we have here's what's coming up the rest of the way here. Hangout, Maddie, Tommy, Jasmine, locked and loaded, 9 to 11. Lock Shop, 10-game NHL slate tonight. Monday Night Football recap as well. Huss will be all giddy about Jameis Winston today. I know it. You know how Huss when he gets really excited. We'll get into that. Probably an early look ahead at Week 14 lines in the National Football League. Some CFL talk in the Lock Shop too. 2 guys and a goalie today. We'll get you ready for the Oilers and Golden Knights, but we are also going to debate our way, myself, Cass, and Gager, to a consensus Team Canada from 2 guys and a goalie. EST Afternoons with Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage. Reed Wilkins Show with the glue guy, Jay Milne from 3 to 6. And the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pre- and post-game coverage. Nobody has Edmonton sports covered better than Edmonton Sports Talk, so make sure you stick around today. What are we watching tonight, boys? Outside of the game. Anything else tickling your fancy here?
No, that's it. That dominates the viewing. It is the final night of NBA Cup group stage action, so a full slate there. I know Rip City Step was going through a few scenarios, but LeBron apparently doesn't care about the tournament. Hey, never has, never will.
Well, when you win one already, why would you care about it again?
He won the only one. He won the only in-season tournament. Does not care about the NBA Cup. He's an in-season tournament man.
He won it pre-sponsorship. Nobody cares about it now.
Back in the OG days.
It's become a corporate vehicle. That's the reason. Did not shoot well last night. I was expecting last night to happen because they played back-to-backs. They played like 6 games in 9 days. NBA scheduling's ridiculous.
They're still up there in the hot West, hey?
You know, Anthony Davis didn't shoot well last night either.
He certainly did not. No, he did not.
What was he, 4 of 14?
Yeah.
When those 2 guys combined for 22 points,
bad night.
They're not winning the game.
Raptors at home to the Pacers. 11 games around that final group stage.
All right, the Hangout is coming up right here and only here on Edmonton Sports Talk. If you're watching on YouTube, turn on autoplay and it'll just take it right on over. Our show ends and boom, slides right into the Hangout with Maddie, Tommy, and Jasmine. Today, lots to discuss over there for sure. I'll be back with the Lock Shop at 11. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take it easy.